ask that maybe let's do a little exercise. I think we need to collectively all relax. I think we need to collectively let out some steam. Tensions are up, exactly. So can we all together on the count of 3, just let out a deep breath? Can we all do that together? Yes. Can we all do that together, please? Fantastic. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. How do we feel? Do we feel a little lighter? Our shoulders a bit down? Are those knots released a little bit? I mean, I'm saying this over and over again because I really, really want us to be relaxed. I really want us to feel like we're in a living room, you know, at games night, at a friend's house, because that is the energy that we're going for here today. So I'm going to come back to you. Do you feel a little better?
Sorry, what was your question?
I haven't asked my question yet. So what is your name?
Okay, I'm Jesuleke.
Jesuleke. Love, that's a beautiful name. Lovely to meet you. So like I said, I have a list of questions. They're very random. So I'm just going to, you know, scroll and ask you one. What would the title of your autobiography be? Just think about your life very quickly. What do you think the title of your autobiography would be?
Wow.
I forgot for a second that I asked the question. She's really, really thinking about the title of that. You know what? I'm going to give you 5 minutes. And I'm going to go to another person with another question. So take 5 minutes, you know, and think it through. But I'm coming back, I promise you. I'm going to go right to you. Can you please just let us know your name? And your question would be, what is your favorite item that you purchased this year?
Shay Oyinola, favorite item I purchased this year? It's a saddle.
A saddle. Ooh, that's for horses. Because you play. Okay, the most exciting thing he bought this year is a saddle. That's very, very interesting and exciting. I'd like to announce once again, please, we're still looking for an iPhone. It belongs to Aisha. If anyone has please seen an iPhone that doesn't belong to them, please just let us know. We're going to continue with our questions, and I'm going to come to this table. And I'm coming this way. And I'm coming to you. Can you please let me know your name? And this is your question. So let's say you are independently wealthy and you don't have to work a day in your life. What would you do with your time?
I'll proceed with capital. Okay, I'll claim it first. I'll probably just leave at the beach.
Soft life. Love it. He would leave at the beach. Okay, I'm coming over to this table. And I'm coming to that. Do you know what? I'm going to be coming to the people that are not giving me smiles. That's how I'm going to be doing it. And I'm coming to you. No, you weren't smiling before I said so. So can you please tell us your name? And tell us, if you had a superpower, what would it be and why?
My name is Wande Adams. If I had a superpower, to be able to read people's minds. Why? I know it's a dangerous superpower. Why, I don't know.
Could it be a little bit of amebo? Could it be? So his superpower superpower would be to be able to read people's minds. You can't really tell us why, but we'll take it. Okay, in the spirit of looking for smiles, good evening. Can you please tell us your name?
I'm Jibola Allison.
Jibola Allison, very lovely to meet you. So, Jibola, your question is, if a movie was made about your life, what genre would it be, and who would you like to play you?
This is a difficult one. Let me say drums music. And then who would play me? Who would play me? That's a very funny choice. Maybe I'll do that.
That's a very interesting. I'm going to have to, sorry, I have a follow-up question. Why Odunlade?
I'm not too into Yoruba movies, but I just like him. I like the fact that he's been able to keep himself out there all this long, and maybe it just cropped up in my mind at that point. Yeah,
I think that's a very solid choice, Odunlade. Fantastic. Okay, I'm coming to this table. And I'm coming to you, ma. I see you looking away from me, but I'm right beside you. Good evening, ma. I'm not going to leave until you welcome me into your space. How are you doing?
Doing well. Good evening.
What is your name, please?
Molara Alakiji.
Very lovely to meet you. Your question would be, what is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
No matter how long it takes, it will surely happen.
Can we please put our hands together for her? That was short, that was sweet, but it was so succinct. No matter how long it takes, it will surely happen. Thank you so much for that beautiful nugget of wisdom. And that just reminded me that I have an outstanding question over here. So I mean, I'm giving you way more than 5 minutes to think. So again, I ask, what would be the title of your autobiography?
Memoirs of a legendary pilot.
I think that was absolutely worth the wait. Right? So, I mean, obviously you are a pilot. How many years have you been flying?
About 10 years.
Wow. I mean, can we put our hands together for her? I think that is just brilliant. She made us wait and it was absolutely worth it. I don't think I've come to this table. And I'm going to come, no I haven't. No, it doesn't suffice, unfortunately. So can you tell us what your name is?
My name is Michael Sundawe.
Hello Michael, very lovely to meet you. Your question is, if you could change places with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
So it will be
I'd like to ask at this point that we please all rise as we welcome the Executive Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Can we please put our hands together for him? Can we make it loud? Can we give him a warm welcome? Let's keep it going, let's keep it going. Going. Come on, guys. Let's get the applause going. Like I said earlier, this is an informal event, and I think Mr. Governor is showing us exactly that, because as we can see, he's already in the room. So can we please make him feel the love, make him feel the warmth. We've been getting to know ourselves in this room, you know. It's easy to wait for Mr. Governor to feel that energy that we've all been experiencing. Okay, once again, you're very welcome, Mr. Governor. Thank you for joining us here this evening. Can we please take our seats? Okay, it is my pleasure to welcome very specially our special guest, Mr. Governor, to this room. Like I said earlier, I just want to reiterate that this is a very informal event. We're here to get to know ourselves a lot better. We're here to forge friendships and relationships that hopefully will foster collaboration and hopefully again yield phenomenal results. Now everyone in this room is either a change maker, a creative, an innovator, but definitely a negotiator. Can we put our hands together for ourselves once more? So we're going to get right into it properly. And the first item on our agenda is going to be spearheaded by three beautiful and amazing individuals. Now, what we're doing here today has happened once before. It happened a few months ago, I understand. And from that event, some things were agreed upon. And I'm going to call on these people right now to just give us a brief recap. So I'm going to call on these people to give us a brief recap of what was agreed upon at the last event, and just take us through some of the steps that have been taken or are being taken to actualize those goals. So I'd like to ask that you please help me and put your hands together as we welcome the SSA Human Capital Development, Toyin Atonda. Can we put our hands together for her?
All right, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Governor. So a couple of months ago, we had the first ever meet and greet where we had young leaders across different sectors come meet with Mr. Governor. And during that process, something happened, exactly when you said preparation meeting opportunity. We had young people in the room that took the shots at Mr. Governor, and we're just here to give you a status of implementation of what has happened from then till now. So one of the young leaders in the room interestingly was chatting with a group of friends and asking them, I'm in a meeting with Mr. Governor. What exactly do you want me to ask Mr. Governor? And he got the mic, he got the opportunity, and he took it. And interestingly, Mr. Governor just right there approved the project. So giving you an update on that project. Please, next slide, please. So he plays soccer at campus stadium, and one of the feedback from his group of friends was that they needed floodlights. And Mr. Governor approved it in the room during the meet and greet. The internal process has been completed. Please kindly give a round of applause. And that was done by the Sports Commission. So by next week, we will be commencing works and putting up the floodlights at campus stadium. So that's it. One dream achieved. As I said earlier, is preparation meets an opportunity. So I'm sure everybody here is prepared for this opportunity. Opportunities that might come from this room. And secondly, we had a very young, amazing leader that was also passionate about education. And as we all know, that's one of the major agendas for Mr. Governor. And he was very enthusiastic about giving back to his community. So he wanted a safer environment and also a conducive environment for Ayete Primary School. Before I go into this, the person that has been working on the previous project of the floodlights is Gawat. Please, can we give Gawat a round of applause? He's been following up all the way. So thank you, Gawat. So for the school, what we've done, I would call Dr. Aditola to give an update on that. But just to mention, the ministry that this was assigned to by Mr. Governor is not actually the one in charge. It's for local government to bear is responsible for primary school infrastructure. The Ministry of Education has taken it upon themselves to go ahead with the renovation of the school. So Dr. Aditola will just take us briefly through the process that has happened so far. Thank you very much.
Mr. Governor, and good evening to our ESCO members. I'm going to start on existing protocol. So we have this school here at the bed. Oh, great. All right. So we have this block of classrooms at the primary school, and it had a couple of problems. It did not have a security house, and the perimeter was also not fenced. And it was too porous, the security was too porous. Everybody could access it and get in and out. And due to that, there were a lot of recommendations that were made, and an approval was made by OGA to renovate and create and stop those security gaps. The gate has been worked on and is still in the process of being worked on, as well as the perimeter fence. This is something that a lot of people have been complaining about in regards to our primary schools, as some of them are too porous. So that is really, really working really hard in the Ministry of Education, rehabbing, building a lot of schools, both primary and secondary schools. And as we all know, education is a primary hallmark of our administration, making sure that our children all have quality education. So we're very, very proud of the fact that people can see continuous work in this area. Thank you very much, sir.
Can we please put our hands together for them one more time? Thank you so much, Toyin Akonda and Dr. Adetola Salao. I think that it was very important that we did what we just did because, like I said earlier, we've done this before. We've gathered in a room like this before with Mr. Governor, and I think it's very refreshing to see that things were agreed upon and work is being done. So once again, can we put our hands together, please, for everyone involved? Now, before Mr. Governor joined us, we were getting to know ourselves a little better, but I think that it's very important that we introduce ourselves properly now that he has joined us. So we're going to take the mic across the room. We're going to hear from every single person in this room. Now, we want to do this as quickly and efficiently as possible. So I'd like to ask that you please just take the mic, stand up, tell us your name, tell us what you do, and I think it would be nice to make it a little fun. So tell us your name, tell us what you do, and give us one word that you hope will describe this event today, at the end of today. So your name, what you do, and one word that you hope will be perfect in describing our gathering here today. So, yeah, just that from over there.
Well, good evening, everyone. Just Licky Akimpelume, helicopter pilot. The word to describe this evening will be intimate.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Valentine Akonde. I'm also a helicopter pilot, and I'm not surprised that we're having this event today. It's really exemplary, and kudos to the governor and his team.
So I'm going to take exemplary. I'm going to take that word, exemplary.
Good evening. My name is Daniel Etin Ifyong. I'm an actor and a filmmaker. It's my first time meeting the governor in person, so I'm hoping tonight will be a night of many firsts.
Many firsts, I like that. We can keep the applause coming, please. We can absolutely keep the applause coming.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Toyosi Atim Efyong. I'm a media entrepreneur, the founder of Vaxfit Media. I'm hoping there's hope tonight after the conversations. I like hope. Thank you.
Her word is hope.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Governor. My name is Flourish Peters, the lead pastor of the Logic Church. I'm hoping there will be transformation after this meeting this evening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tony Bankwanjola. Good evening, Mr. Governor. One word for tonight, enlightening. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sheyi Oingola. I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm hoping tonight will be impactful.
Okay, I think everyone has done really well. Can we give them a round of applause? They've given us impactful, they've given us hope, they've given us many firsts, you know, they've given us so many amazing words. So Table 2, you have to top it.
Yeah, my name is Adam Skenge, Lenge Miami. I'm an actor. I do matchmaking online. I do matchmaking online. I support all singles all over the world, and I conduct them beside their boss so that they can get married. Thank you, sir.
So I'm going to give you 2 words. Marital bliss.
Good evening, everyone. My name is David Okafo. I'm a naval architect, shipbuilder. For this night, we are interactive night.
Interactive.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Olakumi, architect, naval architect.
We can't really hear you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Olakumi Agbaje, architect, naval architect. I'm hoping this night will be top.
Oh, spoken like a true architect.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lucy Cavity. I would say tonight is excellent.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Okpayo Shiswaya. I'm in technology. It's a modern event. Everyone. So modern will be my word.
Good evening, everyone. Bola Agbera is my name. I'm a technical consultant at the Public-Private Partnerships Office. Tonight should be insightful.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Abiodun Shoemimo. I am a financial technologist. I'm the founder, CEO, Capital Metric Swift Bank, Island Telecommunication and Infometric Data Network. My work for tonight is collaboration. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Oluwaseun Dania. I'm CEO of Cryptocurrency Exchange Trade Partner. I'm also a filmmaker, humanitarian. I hope this event will be fruitful.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aziz Amida. I'm CEO of Pan-African Towers. Development is the word.
What is your word? Development.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Babajide. I'm Lagos Member Manager.
Did you give us a word? What word would you hope would describe this evening?
I'm happy to
Yes, I love it. Happiness. Thank you. Can we put our hands together for Table 2? I think they've done very well. They gave us thorough, they gave us insightful, they gave us happiness, they gave us marital bliss. Come on, let's put our hands together for Table 2.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Larry Sanwo-Olu, advertising and media practitioner. This event is an innovation which should be sustained. It's also commendable for putting this together.
my name is Adenika Jones. I'm an entrepreneur, and my word for tonight is progress.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tega Gedenjobo, Chief Operating Officer for Maven. I'm hoping that tonight will build your partnerships as well.
Relay all the way. I'm into advertising, and I'm hoping that tonight will be meaningful.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Olumide Shoyoko. I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm also a venture capital investor. I hope tonight there will be return on investment on my time.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Julia Ketola, Chief Commercial Officer for Azezo. My word today will be principal leadership.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sanwo-Olu. I work with Risha Capital as a liquidity and remittance manager, and I'm hoping tonight will be distinct. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Chizoba Ansu. I'm an entrepreneur, and my word today is necessary.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shema Deromi, and I'm the managing partner for Jamaican Consulting. My word for today is transformational.
I think table 3 is giving the rest of us a run for our money. Can we put our hands together for table 3? I mean, they're giving us distinct transformational leadership, principled leadership, return on investment. Table 4, the buck is on your table right now.
Alright, so we have words, don't worry. Alright, so my name is Dr. Netola Salau, and I am the political aide on education. My word today is future ready. We're going to be making sure that we make Lagos future ready.
Everyone, my name is Vivian. I'm a fashion designer. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
My name is Vivian Bono, and I'm a fashion designer. And my word for today is impactful.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Adeshola Ajbari. I lead all strategic projects at Utiba Technology Education Company, and my word for tonight is forward acting.
Everyone, my name is Yewani Kadim. I run a media company focused on agriculture and nutrition, and my word today, it was impactful, but on two partnerships.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Damlola Emmanuel, General Manager of Lagos State Water Authority. Last one. I think my word for today is let's connect you by the waterways.
My name is Sanwo-Olu, Special Assistant to Mr. Governor on Digital Cabinet. My word for tonight is open heavens.
Open heavens. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tola Odemi Fashola. I am Director of Government Affairs at Finance, the world's largest blockchain and crypto exchange. And the word for today is building, I guess. Building.
Please put our hands together for table 4. I particularly like that table because I asked for one word, but I'm getting 3 words. I'm getting sentences. Well, I'm not complaining. I love it. Someone said open heavens. Did I hear that right? Open heavens. Fantastic. Let's move on to table 5.
Hi everyone. My name is Ibrahim Ismaila. I'm a civil servant, and my word for tonight is extraordinary.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Olakosi Laweri. I'm an architect and real estate developer, managing director of Herald Global. My word for tonight is productivity.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Femi Davis. I'm a payment expert. I head products and innovation at InfoSwitch. My word for tonight is digital.
Good evening, Mr. Governor. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jide. Father's name is Adeyemi. So, I'm a brand strategist, and I lead a company called Big and Bold Communications. My word for this night is purposeful.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Angela Lamsa. I'm a supply chain
professional with Law of African policy. I work today with the funky, short, and super.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Babajide. I'm the CEO of Power Plus. We provide access to energy, renewable energy, to rural communities across Africa. My word for today is energy, big energy.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sanwo-Olu. I am a circular economy expert and the founder of Garden in the Box Africa. Our mission is to inspire and create 1 billion organic vegetable gardens by 2050. I look forward to a restorative and regenerative night. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Babajide. I work as a regional manager with Sanwo-Olu. I will stay with sustainable tonight. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ogunkoya Miriam. I work with the Lagos State Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, Power Department, and I would say empowering.
Fantastic. Can we give it up for table 5? I have one more person.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Governor. My name is Jubola Alison. I'm a public servant, presently deployed to the office of the Lagos State Head of Service. And my word for tonight is excellence.
I think that's a beautiful way to wrap up table 5. What stood out to me for sure was funky, short, and sweet. We can promise you funky, we can promise you sweet. I don't know about short, because how do you keep it short when you're having so much fun, right?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Trisha Olufemi Olumide. I'm a marketing strategist and teacher. My work for today is knowledge.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Owande Adams. I am the co-founder and CEO of the Bowl of Africa. We're a talent incubator, and my word for tonight is love. Love of country, love of our state.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Oluwaseyi Ajibala. I'm a realtor and a political activist. My word for tonight is rising.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nadabira Oluwadeyinka, and my word for tonight is team player, Team Lagos. Dream Lagos, like, yeah. Dream Lagos, like Dream Dubai, the same way we want to jackpot, you know what I'm saying?
Alright, good evening, everyone. My name is Tolu Abiodun. I'm the CEO co-founder of Zila. Zila is building a payments infrastructure to enable Africans to buy and pay later across merchant stores. And my word for tonight will be Itesiwaju.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tunde Balogun. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Small Technology. The founders of Rent Small, Buy Small, and Stay Small. My word for tonight is small.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Falake Owodune. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Emerging 6 Months Africa, a health tech company, and my word for tonight is action.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Leona Adisonia. I'm the founder of Anuela Cards, a printing and greeting cards company. And my word for tonight is blessed.
I like moments like this. My name is Samuel Igube, and I work for the Lagos State government as Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget. I just want to, my word for tonight is breathe.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Anthony Azokwo. I'm a digital artist and author. My word for today is inspirational.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Hani Feju Agboje, and I'm the founder and CEO of Patricia Crypto Exchange. You guys have finished all the words, so I'm going to say the phrase. I'm going to say that the ideas that we shared today last, and they turn it responsible for the past 4 years for Lagos State.
So I shouldn't assume, no. Because the job is still on the table for grab. So my name is Sanwo-Olu. I'm the 15th governor of the largest economy in Africa. And my word for tonight is friendship.
I think that table 6 was absolutely powerful.
Hey everyone, my name is Babajide. I'm Marketing and Communications Manager for Junior Achievement Nigeria, a member of Junior Achievement Worldwide. I'm also a mobile phone photographer and videographer, and my word for tonight will be promise kept.
Yes, good evening everyone. My name is Michael Sumbola. I'm the founder of the Lagos Food Bank Initiative. We work using the integrated food banking system to curb food waste and also improve the nutrition of pregnant women and children across Lagos and other parts of the country. So we all need hope to keep living, and I'm sure that's what a whole lot of us need to keep going. So my word for tonight will be hope.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Governor. My name is Julius Ilori. I'm the CEO of Learner's Corner Education Tech Hub. I'm the first education tech hub in West Africa, located in Ikeja. My word for today will be servant leadership.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Deborah. I'm a student leader and I'm a gender advocate. My word for tonight is betterment, because I'm definitely not living here the same person I was.
Good evening, everybody. My name is George JT. I'm a gender advocate, an activist, and a sexual and reproductive health rights advocate. And my word for today will be demographic dividend.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mukhtar Tijani. I'm the General Manager of Lagos State Electricity Board. And my word for tonight is opportunity.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Adeton Popola, and I'm the General Manager of the Lagos State Parks and Gardens Agency. My word for tonight is conversation.
Can we make the applause loud? I particularly love betterment because she's not living here the same way. I think that was beautiful.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Billy Abiola, and I'm the Director General of the Lagos State Records and Archive Bureau. And my word for tonight is results.
Mr. Governor, everyone, good evening. My name is Olufisayo Asimi, which you will all know as Landmark Beach, the Landmark Towers, or the Landmark Event. What is your word for today? My word for tonight would be growth. Oh, we thought you were going to say Landmark. I would say Landmark first.
Well, let's make it landmark growth. How about that?
Landmark growth. I love that. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Aisha Rahim. Good evening to everyone. I work in supply chain technology in the tech space, also advocacy on policy making for the state. My word for today would be synergy. How can we act? How can we create an output together that is higher than what we can achieve alone?
My name is Oluwajo Baloba. I'm co-founder at Nest. We help entrepreneurs and startup founders. She stole my word, actually. My word for tonight will be continuity.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shegun Daud. I'm the Commissioner for Youth and Social Development. My word for today is awesome.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Governor. My name is Tolokwe Akinpelwe. I'm the founder of the NAC brand. My word today will be learning and learn.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Governor. My name is Lanre Ogundipe.
CEO and co-founder of Imperial EdTech. We're a local OEM. We build hardware devices locally here in Lagos. And my word for today will be innovation at scale.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Babajide Eugene. I'm a visual artist. I recycle plastic waste. I work primarily with discarded papers and all forms of rubber shoes. My word for today will be reassured.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ohidi Delebalo, Creative Director of HRT, a creative advertising agency. My word for tonight will be ideas. I hope this platform is going to help us to pollinate ideas.
Oh, can we give a proper round of applause for table 9? Thank you so much for those beautiful words.
Your Excellency, good evening, everyone. My name is Mafuya Oluwarogbolowo. I'm a businessman. I do cartography for a living and every legal business. My word for tonight is great impact and progress. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Awile Doize. I'm an HR professional. I head the HR for Nezo. My word today will be inclusive. The outcome of today, hope to get inclusivity in Lagos.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Babajide. Hello. Good evening, everybody. My name is Babajide. I'm in fashion. My word for today will be tailor conversation.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ayo Kule Ilesoni. I'm a finance and investment professional at Berkshire Finance Company. My word for tonight will be direct.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Oshodo Light. I'm a real estate developer. My word for today will be off-plan sales.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Agba Emujeze. I'm a legal practitioner, and I'm also the legal advisor of MBA Lagos. I'll describe this event as forward thinking.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sola Kerry. I'm one of the governors. My work tonight is way forward.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Femi. People call me Femi for short because Femi seems a bit complicated, right? I'm the CEO of Cardinal Stone Trustees, a subsidiary of Cardinal Stone Partners. And my word for today will be trust.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bukola Dibaki. I'm an operations director. My word for today will be opportunities for all.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Adedokun Roberts, SSA Physical Planning, and my word for today will be next. After reading what happens next.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jamal Malik Oloshe. I'm the MD of the Energy Services Company, and my word for today is foundation.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Uiwa Ayazin. I'm in manufacturing and supply chain. My word for tonight is pivot.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mahmoud Tijani. I'm an entrepreneur in the energy and oil and gas industry. And my word for today is human energy.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Tosin Shafa. I'm an entrepreneur. Word for today is entertainment.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tosin Thompson, and I'm an entrepreneur. My word for today is enjoyable.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Rotimi Onawe. I'm a computer scientist, Oracle specialist, and I work with the Judicial Service Commission in Lagos.
My word for today is unique achievement.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yasin Abusha. I'm an entrepreneur, and my word for today is belief. I'm believing in our belief.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Wale Adigoke. I'm a media and technology entrepreneur. And my word for tonight is rewarding.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jerry Fabikon. I'm a fashion entrepreneur, and my word for tonight is positivity.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ebolu Olafusi, a journalist with the cable. Okay, my word for tonight is visionary.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Taiwan. I'm trying to get some people, and the word for tonight is expression.
Was that our last word? We're done. Oh, can we please put our hands together for ourselves? I think that was so beautiful. With the way table 11 started there, it seemed like in true back of the class style, that's the table for Faji, because I was hearing entertainment, enjoyment. And I mean, if I was going to be on any table in this room, that's the table I think I want to be. Can we put our hands together for ourselves one more time? At this point, we would like to welcome, to give us the welcome address. And I know that we've been here for some time and I'm saying welcome address, but I mean, we can never welcome ourselves enough. So can we please put our hands together as we welcome the SSA, Development Partnerships and Economic Planning, Aisha Agbaje. Can we put our hands together for her?
Hi, everyone. Hello. This crowd is boring, though. You should have seen our other crowd. Like, they have too much life. Oh, yeah, hello, everyone. What's that? Hello, everyone. You should have seen the other crowd. And people, energy. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your patience, everyone. So it's my pleasure to welcome everyone here to this venue. I actually like to say welcome to the dynamic minds in this room, because we have lots of various sector people here who have come to listen and contribute, because we have a lot of contributions, and I'm so excited about those contributions to the progress of our audacious city. This is Mr. Governor's favorite word for Lagos, audacity. We appreciate your presence here today. We're excited to have you all here at this event, which is titled In Conversation with Mr. Governor. Looking at everyone in this room today, I am delighted to be a young person, and we are clearly doing outstanding work across the state and to drive economic development across the state. And we say a huge thank you for that. I am a strong believer in the idea that if you want to move the state further, we start with having conversations, and this is one of those. This is part of the reason, also part of the reason why we are here as a state. We are here to also keep you guys abreast of what the state is doing, to reshape your thoughts, to also make you, to grow an appreciation of what's happening in this, across the state as well. So, today's gathering will focus on igniting communication between a high flyer youth like yourself, yes, you're high flyers, and the administration. Establishing consistent communication is not only our goal. After this session, we want you to walk out of this door with full understanding of the activities of this administration and a sense of satisfaction from your contributions of our emerging economy at this event. This is an open discourse. We are thankful that you're here, we're thankful that you're present, and it means a lot to myself, to the team, to Mr. Gov, and to the entire Lagos State, and we are thankful. I hope today inspires ideas and discussions on ways we can make Lagos a better place, because how can we do that without having the youth involved? When we say bring us to the table, this is what we mean. Bring us to the table, literally. Everyone here, like I said, is an exemplary youth in various fields. Please ensure you have fun, network today. And I would like to say a special thanks to the team that put this together as well. So thank you, everyone. I don't want to bore you too much, so thank you. I bid you all good evening. I promise my last speech will be better than this one.
Okay. Okay, we're going to keep it going very quickly. A lot of words that were shared earlier on pointed to the future. A lot of words pointed to just a better time for everyone involved. And I think that our next presentation is going to very beautifully address that. I would like to welcome, and I'd like for everyone to please help me. Please help me with your applause. I think we can actually make some noise. We can actually make some noise here today. This will be a good time to test it out. So can we please put our hands together and also make some noise as we welcome the Honorable Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Mr. Sanwo-Olu.
So I get to benefit for your silence all this while. And thank you very much for the shout. It's quite motivating. Mr. Governor, so this is an informal event. So today, I would just like to talk us briefly through what we call our future. And the first thing they told me was to remember that I need to spend small time, right, so that we can get out of here very quickly. Next slide. As fascinating as Lagos is, as tough as Lagos, as challenging as Lagos is, Lagos still outpaces its peers on the African continent, right? It's outpacing its peers in terms of growth. In the African continent, it's an economy that is bigger than Ghana, bigger than Kenya, right? And so when you talk about Babajide Olu, you are talking of someone that can be the president of the country, bigger than a lot of those countries. What that really means is that we must have a big vision, next slide, and we must have a vision that situates us outside of Nigeria. And to drive that vision, we have 6 pillars. One of them is to establish a multimodal transport. On the health and environment pillar is to basically improve the quality of both preventive and curative healthcare and make it accessible. It was our plan to drive education and technology, and talking about this always excites me because as I speak about this and I see some of the things happening, I actually see us on course. We wanted to improve access to and the quality of education and see how we leverage technology, just both in the education system and also technology as a business to frame the way the society develops. Making Lagos a 21st century economy, for us it was to establish Lagos' readiness and openness for business. And then the 5th one is entertainment and tourism. And the idea for us is that we already had a right to lead Africa in this segment. And so what we wanted to do was to stamp our feet very firmly on the floor, supporting actively that sector in just making it what it is, the foremost entertainment in Africa. And the last one is security and governance. We do recognize that without security, without governance, every other thing fails and fails out. So what are we trying to be? What are we, Lagos, if you try to create a futuristic picture of what Lagos is? Lagos defines its vision as to become Africa's model mega city, a global economic hub, and financial hub that is safe, that is secure, that is functional, and that is productive. One of the things about this vision is that it situates itself globally. And therefore, if you come and you tell us, I'm sorry, I mean, if you are from anywhere in Nigeria, that, oh, you are a great city in Nigeria, you are not the one we are trying to pursue. Right? We are trying to pursue the best. So we'll only talk about you if you are also one of the best in the continent and in the globe. To be able to deliver that, we need to think long. We need to think far. We need to think beyond this administration and trust the people of Lagos that they will continue to choose the right type of leadership. They will continue to own the vision. They will continue to drive it together.
and it's the reason we say Ibega Ibile Eko Ajimosheni. That is, you cannot speak about the greatness of Lagos without submitting yourself to the power of partnerships. And these partnerships are partnerships with the citizens of Lagos. They are partnerships with corporations that are resident in Lagos. They are partnerships with other state governments, and they are partnerships with the federal government and with the international community as a whole. This vision, which is a 30-year vision, has basically four pillars. The first one is to be thriving economy. Lagos has a thriving economy, and the idea is that Lagos will have a robust, healthy, and a growing economy with adequate jobs and strategic investment to sustain growth. For us, it was not enough to talk about a strategic plan. It had to be a strategic plan with practical, specific initiatives that can be monitored, that can be followed, that have targets. So under the thriving economy pillar, we have about 162 initiatives that we believe will get us there. And this plan you can find on the internet. You can scan our QR code, I'm sure Aisha will show you that, and you can access it and begin to hold us accountable. But not only us, you must commit yourself to holding future governments accountable. And you know, you've done so well in the way you've selected your past government, and I believe that you will select the future ones correctly as you have done in the past. The second pillar is human-centric city, which means that every Lagosian will have access to affordable and world-class education, healthcare, and social service. And we have 69 initiatives under that. We believe that Lagos will be nothing without modern infrastructure, and we need those infrastructure to be first class, and we have 90 specific initiatives under that. And the last being effective governance, which we have about 116 initiatives under that. In terms of the broad goals, in terms of where we are, we know where we are right now. This place where we are is what puts us in front, because we are the fifth largest economy in the African continent. It's where we are now that gave us AAA rating 2 times running in a year, as a very resilient city and a sustainable city. It's where we are now that has given Mr. Governor a series of awards as basically a leader, not only recognized in Lagos, but recognized also internationally. We want that at the end of 30 years, we will have grown our GDP 10 times. Today, we're about 84, 100, 120. We want to get to about $1 trillion in 30 years. But it's not just being big in size. We want that should trickle down to individuals. And so we have set for ourselves a target to grow our GDP per capita by 5 times, from $4,800 where it is now to $20,000. You might ask, why am I using dollars? Because I'm positioning myself internationally, right? And it's the reason why I use all of this. The other target we have is the Human Development Index target, which basically measures the healthy life situation of our people. Today we're at 0.65. It's something that the economists, that is an index that is measured around the world, and we want to move it up to 0.8%, which puts us in the forefront of great nations around the world. We've also set a target for livability and our response time in government and our internally generated revenue. Today, on internally generated revenue, you will agree with me that Lagos is the most prosperous state in the whole of Nigeria by far. But if you think of our revenue, we still believe it's very small compared to our GDP. We're at under 2%. What we want to do is to grow it to 5%. In other words, multiply it 3 times. So I will then try to describe some of the things that are within the plan. And some of them we are already executing, which is why this plan is a handshake with a past plan. And one of them is to develop our city on the west wing and on the east side. West meaning the Badagry side, and the east being the Ekpe side. And that was what drove us to galvanize our partners in doing the Lekki Deep Sea Port. Now, the Lekki Deep Sea Port is 3 times the capacity upon completion of the Apapa Port. What that means is that the Lagos you see today has been derived from the activities coming out from the Apapa Port over the last 50 years. That port brought the traders, brought the manufacturers, brought the banks. What we are doing in the Lekki Deep Sea Port will be 3 times that. And so you can imagine what the future of Lagos will be in that sector. But that's not all. That axis is supported by a new road, really, because we are changing the existing Lekki-Epe Expressway from just a 4-lane highway to a 6-lane highway. But it's not just 6, it's going to be reinforced concrete, reinforced heavy thick concrete, because of what we see that the port will bring there. So it will support the vehicular and truck movement along that artery, taking trucks out of Lagos. But not only that, we see that that corridor is going to be is currently the fastest growing corridor. So we've committed to the regional road, which will run parallel from VGC to Freedom Way, right? And that also, right, is an expansive project on its own. We've committed also to the 4th Mainland Bridge. We've spent time, because you need to do 2 seasons in doing your environmental impact assessment. We have now done that. We have reduced the contractors and the partners from about 30 to about 3. And before the end of this year, we should award the concession that will deliver the 4th Mainland Bridge, that will take people from Lekki all the way to the coast. And we have planned a 6-rail color-coded rail line system. One of them will be the Green Line. The Green Line will move from Marina all the way along the Lekki-Epe Expressway to the Deep Sea Port. And that is the next rail that we'll be advertising. We've done the work and we'll be advertising that. On the west side, we just received approval from the federal government for the Badagry Deep Sea Port. The idea is to create and dominate the artery on the West African trade that goes along Badagry Expressway. That particular axis is supported by a 10-lane highway, which is currently going on, right, which will expand that particular traffic and create a trade route that will be strong. Along on the center of that trade route, which is a 10-lane highway, is the Blue Line. The Blue Line coming all the way from Okoko and taking people to Marina Station. Marina Station is not like any station that you've seen before. It's the size of a football field and more, with a lot of economic activity that is going to be elevated, right? On that same axis, you have the red line coming all the way, right? All the way to Ebutemeta and Oyingbo. That line, right, is an interesting one. It has 10 bridges over it, so it's going to change the entire skyline as you move along that artery. It has 8 world-class train stations on that route, and you'll be happy to be a part of Lagos when that red line is complete. Those 2 lines will move 32.5 million people every month and shut down their journey time from 2 hours 30 minutes to 30 minutes. You can imagine what that does to the future of productivity amongst our people. This is not to talk about what we are doing in technology, right? Because we realize that technology will give us a leapfrog, a very big leap over moving in a manual basis. So we have committed to a broadband fiber optic infrastructure as a backbone for Lagos metropolis. That is a 3,000 kilometer of broadband fiber duct that pulls capacity into Lagos and will increase the speed of internet capacity in Lagos. It's already attracting attention from around the world. It is that same capacity and distribution that it brings is what is leading investment into that sector. Over $1.5 billion in investment in high-power data centers in Lagos, in undersea cable, while just landed there with Google, that will increase our capacity in Lagos by over 10 times. Now, we believe that if we supported that ecosystem, our young people are creative by themselves and they will do what is necessary So we are going all the way to Yaba to continue some of the support which we're giving to that system. And we've acquired a piece of land, working together with partners, private sector partners. And I think the idea is to build a technology campus, next slide, that looks like this. The idea is that if you are creative and you walk into this place, you will find people to co-create with, you will find space to work, you will find 3D printers to work with, to test your ideas, and to basically cultivate stuff, right? We believe that the future of Lagos is a future where people can walk out of Lagos with the capacity and infrastructure around the world without leaving Lagos. We believe that that city is a place where you can stay and collaborate and co-create with people from around the world. It is part of the Ajibose spirit going international. We believe that this is the place that people should come to. We also, you see that behavior when we begin to talk about entertainment. We are putting a brand new film city. The entertainment people came to us at the beginning and said, look, they wanted infrastructure. And we promised them that we'll do a film city. It's 120 hectares of development that will happen out there in Egbe to support all the work. It will be made up of studios, audio studios, all kinds of facilities that will allow our people to create and to do their work. On the back of that, we're already building up the army of people that will support that industry, because they didn't only ask us for infrastructure, they asked us for talent. So we've partnered with people like the Ebony Life Academy, with the African Film Academy, with Kiddy Studios, with them working with the New York Film Academy, just to continue to develop an army of practitioners that will support that sector. Not to talk of spaces like J. Randu Center, which is the J. Randu Center for Yoruba Culture. It's a mix of culture and technology. You see there at Onikon, and you see that it is green, and it's a place that you will like to be in because it has all kinds of mixes of digital technology and our culture mixed into one. Gentlemen, I hear that my time is up, and I agree, it's really up. Right, but I would just like to leave you with certain things about Lagos. And I learned it from you guys when Mr. Governor was interviewing some of you at Ehibete. One of the things, put it down. Yes. One of the things is that when you want to interact with Lagos, you must understand that Lagos creates partnership. And therefore, in partnerships, you must think of what you have and not what you lack. Because it is what you have you trade with. You must think of the progress that we are making and not the drawbacks, because we are going to succeed as a people irrespective of the challenges that we face. You must think about giving, not just receiving, because it's in your giving that we can calibrate your investment and calibrate your equity in the state called Lagos. You must think also about the future. You must think about the assets that you have and that you can trade with. Now, except you do this, you will always stay in a quadrant that keeps you wanting and unsatisfied. I've always desired in my life to be a CEO, but I've not seen the gathering of young CEOs like I've seen in one place today. That means you guys are doing stuff, exciting stuff, provocative stuff that are inspiring other people that they can be there. Next slide. And the last thing I will say is that as you move along the road, right, and you see these two guys, remember that the one in black is Mr. Governor. Yes. Right? And it's a major player and leader in what we say, the greater Lagos is rising. So all of these things that I talk about are things that you must observe continuously and say to yourself that the greater Lagos that we talked about is rising. You are not just going to watch it as a spectator. You are going to participate in bringing and creating that greater Lagos. And the first step you are taking in that regard is being here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that beautiful presentation. It was very exciting. Earlier on, a number of people said the word hope, and if that doesn't make us feel hopeful, I don't know what will. So can we please put our hands together one more time? Still on the subject of hope, we're going into our next segment that we have tagged Emerging Hopes, the Lagos I See. Now, a little while ago, ideas were called upon. You know, young people, some of which are in this room tonight, presented their ideas. And of all the brilliant ideas that were shared, 4 were shortlisted. So you know that the ideas that are about to be shared right now are the best of the best. They are going to be absolutely transformational. They are going to be brilliant. And we're going to have a great time, you know, sharing those ideas. But before we get to that, we did a little activity earlier that was a little fun, but unfortunately, Mr. Governor missed out on that. So I think that it would be nice for us to do a little bit of that, you know, once again, so that he can get to know us on that personal level. I think we can all agree that we had a little bit of fun when we were sharing earlier, right? Yeah. Did we not have a good time? Thank you. So we're just going to do a little bit of that right now while we get ready for our next segment, tagged Emerging Hope. So I'm going to go back to my very lovely questions from earlier on. And I'm going to try and remember people that I didn't speak to earlier. Let me start from the middle of the room, and I'll start with you. Because you are in the middle of the room, exactly. So I'm going to ask you, I don't know if I asked this question before, but I'll just ask again. If you could change places with anyone in the world, who would it be and why? Switch places with anyone in the world. Oh, I remember I asked this question. Yes, I did, but I don't remember. I don't know that we got an answer, so I'm going to come back to you actually and get your answer. We can get 2 answers now. Anybody in the world?
I would say Denzel Washington.
Hi,
Denzel. So beyond him being my best actor, I think his philanthropy and his impact is overwhelmingly amazing. I mean, despite the clout he has, he's still someone that is relatable.
Fantastic, I love that, Denzel. Earlier on when we were introducing ourselves, I remember somebody saying he was a filmmaker. Who's the filmmaker in the house, please? I know that there was we even have a couple of filmmakers. We have our next superstar actor right here. So I think it would be great to see him on our screens very soon. Thank you so much. I hear that there's another from you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Babajide. First of all, I would like to say thank you to Mr. Governor for this opportunity. And I would like to give him a gift, if that is allowed. So I'm into fashion, so I made something.
So you will get the time to do that after, so right? Yeah, we're going to. Yeah, we'll get the time to do this after. Okay.
So I like to be Jay-Z.
So I mean, you cannot tell us that you want to be Jay-Z without dropping some bars. So.
That's bad. You know, soft life. I can't marry you also. Come on.
Okay, so this is Jay-Z incubation. We'll take it. Okay, I'm going to go to this table and I'm going to come to you. And I would like to know, of all the apps on your smartphone, if you had to delete all of them but 3, which 3 apps will you keep?
Audible, WhatsApp, and Twitter.
Okay. Audible, WhatsApp, and Twitter. That's a good one. I think I want to hear from somebody else. What 3 apps? Okay. So I heard from you before, so I'll hear from you. What 3 apps would you like to keep on your phone?
My bank app. WhatsApp and
Okay, his bank app, WhatsApp, and Zoom. That sounds to me like a highly productive individual. I'm going to come just right here. Good evening. Your question is, have your own late night talk show. Who are you inviting as your very first guest?
God make me feel.
Can you give us a little insight into one or two questions that you'll be asking Mr. Emefiele?
I mean, first I'll start with my industry, right? So the rationale first for the February 2021 ban, first. And number two, just, can you explain to us your actual monetary policy?
Okay. So her late night talk show is just about to launch, and her first guest is going to be Godwin Emefiele. What is the name of this talk show?
It's time for Nigeria to rise.
It's time for Nigeria to rise. Every night by 11 p.m. on all TV stations across Nigeria. Fantastic. I'm going to come to this table. I don't know that I've been to this table before. Hello. If you could eat one meal every day for the rest of your life, what meal would that be? Indomie noodles. Oh, Indomie noodles. I love it. Short and sweet. I love that. Unhealthy. Okay, I'm going to do one more question from... I don't know that I went to that table at all today. Did I? Okay, last question from this gentleman over here. I want to make it a very good one. Okay. What is one thing that you think everyone in this room does not know about you? Is that a bit too much? It's a bit too much. Oh, TMI. Okay. Let me make it a little lighter. If you could choose any two famous people to have dinner with, who would they be?
Okay, David Beckham, and okay, the person wants me alive, right?
Oh, okay. We'll take that alive. We'll take that alive.
I have some interesting people.
So now I'm very curious. So let's take your person that is alive, but I also want to hear the one person that is not with us anymore that you'd like to have dinner with.
Okay, so people that are alive, I would also like to meet Sir Alex Ferguson as well.
And then
I would like to meet Tupac.
Tupac, okay. That's a very interesting dinner. That's a very interesting dinner. Thank you. Can we please put our hands together for ourselves one more time? I thought that would be a beautiful way to, get to know each other on a deeper level. And I think that it works, if I do say so myself. So we're going to move right on to the next segment, Emerging Hopes. And we're going to do this very quickly. We're hearing from four brilliant individuals. I'd like to please ask that, or please let you know that you have 5 minutes each. It would be very appreciated if you can keep your presentation 5 minutes or under. So we're going to start with our first presenter. He is the CEO of Patricia, Hanu Fejiro Agboje. Can we please put our hands together for him?
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Mr. Governor. Good evening, my name is Fejiro Hanu Agboje. I'm the founder and CEO of Patricia. A quick introduction into my story and why I'm here today. I started my entrepreneurial journey when I was 8 years old, selling popcorn, and I moved to Lagos to chase the dream, the Lagos dream. I moved to Lagos in 2017, and I started Patricia in that same year. Today, Patricia has over 1 million users. We are now officially Nigeria's biggest crypto exchange, and all of this was made possible because of the great and also the Lagos factor in it. So today, I want to talk about technology. My Honorable Commissioner spoke about that, and I want to deepen the concept and what we can actually do together, what we can achieve with technology. First off, the world is changing, and we need to change too. We need to position Lagos State as the center and the mecca of technology around the world, especially starting from Africa. Today you see companies like Facebook changing their name to Meta to make a very strong stance and solidify the frontier that they're moving into, the metaverse. Right? The world is moving away from oil companies and fossil fuel to technology being the new frontier. Right? If you check in the Forbes list, the top companies in the world are technology-driven companies. Just 2 months ago, a 7-year-old company called Figma was sold for $50 billion. A 7-year-old company. Only technology can give you that sort of explosive growth. We see countries like Dubai, they have a metaverse strategy, and their vision is to produce 50,000 jobs, to double the amount of blockchain and crypto companies in the country by 5% every year. All of this is because the new frontier, there's a new area of growth coming, and Lagos State needs to capture that and also lead in that frontier. 2 months ago, I was in Portugal, where I got the chance to speak in front of 7,000 people around cryptocurrency, Africa, and Lagos. And it was a very interesting event because I had never seen 70,000 people come for a technology event in my life. This is not a music concert, it's a technology event. And it was very powerful to see what they were doing in Portugal. So at the dinner table, I met with the founder of the event, and I asked him, why did you choose Portugal of every city in the world to host your event? And he mentioned that the city of Lisbon actually signed a contract with him to bring that event to Portugal for 10 years, and he was paid $80 million to do that. Now, that was my first time in Portugal. That was the first time of over 50,000 people into Portugal at the same time. Imagine what that would have done for the economy of Lisbon, for tourism. Hotels were off the chain at that time, and a lot of sharp guys would go there, they would find babes, and they would come back and they would marry. And they would always be going back, right? These are ideas that work. Moving on, Miami. If you know anything about America, you know that Miami was a party scene. Now Miami has drifted away from being a party scene to being the mecca of crypto and blockchain in America. You cannot host any events in America around blockchain and cryptocurrency if it's not speaking on Miami, if it's not in the city of Miami. Why? Because the governor of Miami, Governor Suarez, he went extra bullish on crypto. He made crypto laws, he made crypto very acceptable, technology acceptable in Miami. And now, just 3 years in, Miami has become the mecca of crypto in America. Russia. In as much as there are very interesting sentiments about Russia, they are also leading in this frontier. They have officially launched a countrywide crypto exchange. They are bringing laws around technology, and it's seeing them do interesting strides in this space also. Our very own neighbor here, Rwanda, right? Rwanda signed a deal with Arsenal, my favorite football club. This year we are winning the league, don't worry. So Rwanda signed a deal with Arsenal, right, to put their logo there, and it just says visit Rwanda. And that deal cost them $30 million. But at the same time, you can only imagine the amount of visibility it has brought into country, Rwanda. Rwanda now is becoming the melting point for anything technology in Africa. I have some of my engineers fly to Rwanda for training just because of all of this exposure that they have brought in the last couple of years. The list goes on and on, but the real question here is, how can we get ahead? How can Lagos position itself to be the mecca of technology in Africa? So I have a lot of ideas around it, and I'm going to run through them quickly. And the first one starts with expanding our parastatals. You see, today, I talk about blockchain, I talk about AI, I talk about VR, I talk about interesting new frontiers. But our parastatals today are not equipped to support me, even if I want to get into this field. So that is the very first step. We need to be able to expand the frontiers of our parastatals. So when people who want to dive into these technologies or dive into these avenues, there is a way to get in. I started my business with zero support. Today, Patricia is not funded. We don't have any investor, right? And we've been able to build what we have built without zero support. Now imagine if we got zero support that you see companies like Tesla in America have, right, where they were giving $500 million as grants to get things done, right? We need to be able to expand our ministry, expand our parastatals to allow room for growth, allow room for innovation. Up next, we need to set up innovation hubs. I was very pleased to see the vision of the innovation hub that was shown earlier. That is very, very essential, right? We need to set up these hubs as avenues for growth, as avenues for collaboration, right? Great ideas are born drowning. So we need to be able to support these ideas and support people, not just in terms of monetary value, but giving them free working space, giving them internet, giving them subsidized costs to laptops, so they can begin to explore their creative ideas, right? There's this very interesting saying: what if the cure of cancer is stopped in an uneducated mind? What if the cure of cancer is stopped in an uneducated mind? We need to be able to set up innovation hubs and do things differently. This is an area that I am very bullish on myself. So Patricia, what we have done is we have invested in a warehouse, a 1,600 square meters warehouse, where we are building one of the biggest innovation hubs in Africa. This is our own CSR to our people, because we believe that this is the way for growth, this is the way to move forward, and if any change is to happen, we have to embody that change ourselves. So this is the works we are working on. You can move to the next slide, please. It's near completion, and when this innovation hub launches, it will be able to house at least 1,000 engineers, and we intend to give these people to work. 1 minute, please. I'm having some technical difficulties. Okay. So yeah, this is our innovation hub. So moving on, we have Dubai. Dubai is a model that I follow, and is a model I preach to my employees every other day, right? That if we want to move, we can move and we can emulate who has done it before. Dubai set up the DXCC, which is an innovation city, not just a hub, an innovation city where companies around the world can come and trade, and it's also a free trade zone, right? These are things that we need to jump on in Lagos State to be able to move us from where we are to where we want to get to. And last but not least, we need to be able to push up grants, right? So people are different. We operate differently, and most times what I've seen is people need support, right? So we need to be able to have the right grant in place. While I was preparing for this speech, myself and my team, we went in and we did some research to see the work that has been going on in the background, and we stumbled on last week. It's an initiative by the Lagos State government, and we were very excited to see it. we're very excited to see it, and these are the ideas that we want to see and the ideas that we want to propagate. However, there was a downside to it, right? When we got into the last week platform, we saw that some companies got grants from the past years, and we went in to see how these companies were doing, and they were not existing anymore. And that right there lies another challenge, right? Because the government is doing a lot of work, but it's not seeking funds, right? If I did not make this research about Last Week and I'm in tech, I would want to know about this initiative, right? So we need to be able to channel things in the right direction so it can get to the last mile. It can get to the people on the streets, and we can be able to have that desired impact. Last but not least, all of these things can come together and we can have a technology strategy for the state of Lagos, right? How many jobs do we want to bring in the next 10 years? How many hubs do we want to bring in? What change do we want to bring forth, right? And we can make that happen. Part of my hobbies is traveling. And in the last 3 months, I've been to 8 cities, 5 countries, and 3 continents. And it was very interesting to see what the world is doing and to see how people around the world are embracing technology. And I get very jealous because I know that they are not smarter than us. As a matter of fact, we are stubborn. We will get things done. Nigerians, we know how to get things done, right? And it is my vision, it is my hope that we can double down, we can put in more effort into technology, and Lagos State can become the mecca of technology in Africa. I will end my TED talk today by saying that the best time to plant a tree is 9 years ago, and the next best time to plant a tree is now. Thank you.
I think that was an equal part word and equal part action presentation. So thank you very much for that. We're going to move on very quickly to our next presenter. He is a digital artist by name of Anthony Azepo. Can we please put our hands together for Anthony?
Good evening, everyone. I mean, that's fine. Can everyone hear me? Yeah. Okay, great. So let's wait for the slides to come up. Can anyone see the slides? Yeah. Ah, great. So, basically, I am one of Nigeria's and then Africa's leading digital artists. But what does that mean and what does that entail? And to relate to this, I think it's best that I'll tell you a story that we can all connect to. 2 years ago, all our lives had to change. A virus came and it revolutionized the way that we work, the way we communicate with our people, and the way we communicate at home. Everything we had to do, we had to lead to technology, and we were better for it. But 4 years before that, I also had to lean on technology. I wanted to draw, I wanted to paint, but art materials are expensive. And so I had a mouse and a laptop, and I taught myself how to draw with those tools. But a question plagued me: how far can we take this? That's always been in my head. How far can these things be going? And so I continued, I got better. Sometimes people would give me money for work, and my skills advanced. But still they kept on going, how far can we take this? Years passed, a painting of mine went viral during our quarantine time, and suddenly, every continent in the world, a painting of mine is there. Suddenly, in every major city, every place where you find people, where you find art collectors, people who value art, my work was there. From Lagos to New York to London to Tokyo, every single place had my work in it, either in a home, an office place, a gallery. But still, how far could we take it is something that had been on my mind. And this fusion of African art, of culture, of digital technology is what we call Afro-digital. A way for us to be able to unlock the potentials of the future. So yeah, you can go to the next slide. But still, that question of how far things could go, it led me to this. So, can everyone see this right here? So this is a sculpture. This is made with Jinxing black marble. This will take you normally about 322 days to make with this grace and this detail. My team and I, we did this in 7. How? Because I didn't carve this out of stone. I'm a digital sculptor. This went from a digital file to a physical product. And that's what made us think here. How far again can we still take this? And that's what took us there. Because you see, this is very expensive to ship. We'll tell you, it's very expensive to ship. But just with this QR code now, this sculpture can be viewed from anywhere in the world. And if Mr. Governor is willing, I'd like to show him. Yeah. So I'd like to invite you to the floor, sir. So it starts by scanning the code. You have to look closer. No, just the photos, man. Just the photo code. Right there. So closer. Oh, shadows are blocking it. But you know what? We just. Okay? You don't use this. For the sake of the conversation. This will take you here. So now we still need to look around your phone so you can look at the crowd. Just move the phone left and right. Just that. And then we'll scroll. So let's go to the top. Look at here. Yeah. Can you see now? There we go. Now let's tap it. Allow you to. Yeah, so you can look. And you can walk around it. So you can see one. Where you going? Okay, awesome. So one thing we realized that a lot of people have Instagram. What happens if we're able to activate this technology for everybody that can use it? So you just move it around and then it activates. Oh, there we go. So you tap and then you can follow it around. So you can see it. You can also see the top, and you can move around it. So just with this simple code, we're able to activate this sculpture everywhere in the world. You can have it, it's fine. And that's what was really important for us. And that's what's really important for us. Digital access to all the materials that we have. Because you find that when it comes to things like crude oil, those things need to be shipped. But things like our culture, our music, our art, those things are moved by me and you, and how we think and interact with our history. And so the question of how far can we take this? It took us to this, and it takes us further. The first is education. There have been 15 great governors of Lagos State, men who have been able to shape this state and also our nation. But what are the monuments to them? Imagine if you were able to access 15 great works of art all through your mobile phone, all across the state. Imagine if you were able to go to places in Nigeria that you maybe wouldn't otherwise visit, but now you have access to, all with your mobile phone. Because that's what the mobile phone is now. It's not just a device, it's a barrier of entry. And the barrier of entry for access to knowledge and technology has never been as low as it is now. Before, you had to learn a whole language to be able to take part in the economy. Now, with just some money, you buy a phone, and just like that, you're plugged in. These things are very important. Entertainment. Imagine you were able to watch your favorite artist. Just recently, Meta, formerly Facebook, came to Lagos, and a lot of us creators were invited, and were able to test on our technology to integrate digital access, digital fields, also with physical experiences, enhancing what could always be done. How far can we take this? We also have tourism. Again, imagine that first idea I gave you later. Imagine if we had pedestals all across Lagos, empty pedestals, with QR codes attached to them, and every time you scan them, you could see a sculpture of a great Nigerian hero, maybe Herbert Macaulay, or maybe even our governor here, Governor Sanwo-Olu. These things are very important in how we keep our history. History is not just a record of things that have happened, but it's also how we tell the stories of us and our people. Now, distinct features of this technology, with this new digiverse or metaverse, or how people want to frame it, it's interactive. Being able to view a sculpture in real time like that is very, very important for people who want to interface with Nigerian culture. Second, it's dynamic. You don't need too much. It's able to shift between mobile phones, technologies, and we are the only limits to how far this can go. With Just Goals, you could go to Egypt, you could come back to Lagos, you could go to Abuja, you could visit all the great tourist attractions of our great nations, all without leaving your room. These things are important. It's scalable. This sculpture is 15 kg. It's heavy, it's expensive to move. Very expensive. But what we just saw now, very easy. These things are important because now they allow us to be able to move through borders that otherwise were obstacles and are now seamless. Digital is the way forward. Before there was a rush for gold, in the early 2000s there's a rush for .com, but now there's a rush for digital economy. Now there's a rush for the space that people can occupy in this new age, and the space is already there. The future is not coming, it's now. And companies like Meta, countries like America, cities like Miami are using this technology to be able to empower themselves and the people in it. And I feel like Lagos definitely is the answer to a lot of the things that we have here. I feel like the question I had of how far things can go, how far can we take this, is right here in this room. And I feel like for us, the answer is simple. How far can we take things? Very far indeed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anthony. I love your closing words. Very far indeed. Before we move on to the next presenter, Mr. Governor got to experience something, but I know a lot of us couldn't really relate because we couldn't see it, right? So I think it would be a good idea for us to very quickly experience that. Okay, so how do we go about that?
Definitely, okay.
Anthony's very excited.
I've been talking to myself for a long time. So raise your hand if you would like to just try the filter right now. Okay, so you three. So it's very simple. You guys can come up. No, yeah, you have to. My bad. That's fine.
So I mean, when you load it up, is that the right way to say load it up? Is that the right term?
I mean, it's new, so like any time is cool.
Okay, so it would be a great idea to share as much as you can.
Okay, open the Instagram. And, yeah, so you have, there we go. So you can also scale it up. And now that it's placed, you can walk around it. It's almost like it's in the room. Okay, let's look here. Okay, so you have Instagram.
So if you can please show as many people in the room what you're experiencing.
You may not be able to get this far away. You can see from there, we did good work. I'm happy. So that's how it works, and you know, it's very, very important that we do these things, and we're able to open the access for everybody who can. You know, it's something that's very important to us, and we've been working with it for a long time.
Tassie, can we put our hands together one more time for Anthony? Thank you so much for broadening our frontiers. We're going to move on very quickly again to our third presenter for tonight. She is the CEO. I think I need to wait for the room to settle down in 2 minutes. Are we good? Are we ready to move on? Are we good to move on? Are we good to move on? Yes, thank you. Okay, so can we please welcome the CEO Emergency Response Africa, Folake Owodu. I think we can make it a little louder.
Hi everyone, good evening. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here, Your Excellency, good evening. My name is Sanwo-Olu. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Emergency Response Africa, and we are a health tech company that's trying to change. We're trying to change the way that we manage emergencies on the continent, starting in Nigeria. I'm sure if I ask this room, how many of us have experienced a medical emergency or know somebody that has experienced one, most of our hands will go up because that's something that we see every single day in our society. What I want to do today is talk a bit about how Lagos State can save 1 million lives over the next 5 years. One simple solution. Looking at some numbers, just to kick us off, poor emergency medical response results in more than 6 billion deaths every single year across Africa. And what's causing these deaths? You can't see it very well, but cardiovascular diseases, we often hear the stories of someone slumped and died. What exactly is behind that? Accidents and injuries, that's something I'll talk a little bit more about. Maternal mortality conditions and several more. Now, what it means for Nigeria is that more than 1.2 million people are dying right here in our country every single year. And we can prevent that. Let's look at Lagos State very specifically. So we know that, next slide please. We know that Lagos State leads the way right now for providing emergency medical services across the country. Yes, please clap. It is certainly an achievement. That being said, there are certainly still gaps, and it is in closing those gaps that we can save over 1 billion lives. So just click through to the next, please. Every single year, the Lagos State Ambulance Service gets 11,000 calls. Next. Now, if you look at road traffic accidents, which makes up the bulk of those calls, about 37% of those calls are actually addressed. Another 26% or so are false alarms, but there's a full 22% where those cases are already resolved in some form or another, perhaps by a good Samaritan or a helpful bystander, and the emergency service is not actually able to respond. There are also others in there that maybe simply don't, there are multiple cases or it simply wasn't tracked. Now what happens though is that we looked at data a little bit more deeply, and the data tells us the full story. 97% of cases that arrive in a hospital emergency department come by private car. So whether it's your own car or whether it's a taxi, they're arriving there. We did our own research as Emergency Response Africa back in 2019. We surveyed 287 people and we asked them a simple question. When there is an emergency, what do you do? Only 3% of people said they would actually call an ambulance. And so what it means, if you calculate the numbers, is that within Lagos State, we have about 360,000 missed potential emergency calls every single year. Next slide, please. So what is Emergency Response Africa? Like I said, we're a health tech company, and our goal is to make sure that when people have an emergency, they get the help they need as quickly as possible. And this is how we work. An individual or bystander can reach out very simply by a toll-free line, or they can submit a request through a mobile app. Now, as soon as we receive that request, a medical dispatcher is able to do two things. They can provide phone-based first aid if it's a minor emergency and deal with it then and there. But if additional help is required, they can send out a first responder on a motorcycle. Now, I know that Lagos State has strong feelings towards motorcycles, and so we've been very cautious about making sure that our motorcycles are duly registered, fully in line with the regulations. But the concept of a motorcycle medic means that they can cut through traffic, get to the scene of the emergency just within a few minutes and start providing care, even while an ambulance is on the way. Now, when the ambulance reaches, they can get there, they can pick up the patient and transport them to hospital. And it's important that you communicate with that hospital in advance so that when the patient arrives, there are no further delays to receiving care. And of course, technology is at the root of it, ensuring that there's smart dispatching, seamless communication, and data transfer from end to end. And I believe that this model already shows results. With this type of model, you're able to get below 10 minutes response times, and that's what Lagos State government is targeting, to get under 10 minutes. And we already see some of the testimonials that we've gotten. Adebola Tosin, right here in Lagos, said, in a country with little or no value attached to human lives, ERA comes as a breath of fresh air for emergency services. I believe that's something that people should be saying about our state emergency services, and I think there's a way we can get there. Next slide, please. So, how can Lagos State government save 1 million lives over the next 5 years? simple. We want to launch a pilot project with the Lagos State government. And what does that entail? Number one, create a community-based first responder network. We can tell you this from experience, there are a host of healthcare workers who have a desire to participate in the delivery of emergency services, but lack the training, lack the know-how, lack the coordination to be able to do that. We can easily create a network of community-based first responders. Number two, leverage alternative vehicle formats. We already know motorcycles get us our deliveries in 2 hours or even less. Why should emergency services be any different? Number three, educate the public. Leverage media and entertainment. I'm so glad there have been lots of conversations around entertainment today. I'm sure many of us, whether it's on Netflix or on other channels, we watch Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, House, Grey's Anatomy. One thing that those types of programs do is that they subtly educate the public on what to do in emergency situations. All of us know 911, but I'm sure if I poll us and say, okay, what are the Nigerian emergency numbers? It's a different story. That's the power of leveraging media and entertainment. And the final piece I'll say is, there's an opportunity to work with people who are doing this work. I might be sacrificing myself a little bit by saying, but I think Lagos State generally has a reputation, unfortunately, of starting things that other people are doing within the private sector and ultimately resulting in their untimely death. Instead, let's approach it as a partnership. Rather than just start it, can we invest and buy the existing solutions? We are actually a proud beneficiary of LSCTF. That's why I put it on. They have been an incredible team, an incredible support. I like to describe LSCTF as the gift that keeps giving. Those are the types of programs that we need more of. But beyond those programs, we also need the government to be prepared to buy these solutions and help them to scale. And I think that's what Lagos State government can do. I'll just end by saying that reducing response times to under 10 minutes right here in Lagos will have the impact of building trust in government, which I know is something that our government truly wants, increasing utilization of the existing resources that have been invested in, and most importantly, reducing that mortality by more than a third. We have the opportunity to save over 1 million lives over the next 5 years in Lagos, and we hope that we'll be able to partner to do that.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on very quickly to our last presentation for this segment. Remember, it is called Emerging Hopes, the Lagos IC. And I'm sure everyone can agree with me that from these presentations, the Lagos that we can all see is absolutely going to be a beauty to behold. Can we please welcome our last presenter? He is the CEO at the Hook Creative Agency, Tohin Balogo. Can we put our hands together for him?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Governor. Hope you can hear me. Hello? Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you. I will ask that we take a moment to sort of remember our favorite Nigerian artist. Just let names come to your mind. Now, I want to assure you, whatever names has come up, that those artists actually made it through because they had a lucky break. A lucky break, that's what happened. So how do we then take the luck out of the process and guarantee breakthrough? That's what this presentation is about, access to growth. This is the idea in brief. We want to create a platform, institutional and a physical platform, with a mission, simple mission to discover, nurture, and transfer talent. What this will do for us is that we ensure that far more creative talent become very successful and even generate more income for the state. I believe we can do that. So how do we get to this point? So I will play a song by Timaya. Please. Okay, cool. So I'll just move along. Let's just go. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah. So this is song by Timaya, Plantain Boy, where he talked about, you know me well, everybody call me Mr. Timaya, plantain seller, something like that. Yeah. So what that song did was it's biographical in nature. It sort of pointed us to what it would have been if he hadn't had his lucky break, right? And right there, as we're talking right here, right now, we actually have a lot of plantain sellers out there equally talented, perhaps more talented than Timaya. Myself, as I'm standing in front of you here, I was born in a place called Alabiaga, somewhere in Ajigule, right? I used to have a friend called Momodu, right? Momodu is very talented for the artist. I, got my own lucky break. I became a very successful copywriter. I earned my money through that. But Momodu never was not that lucky, right? The last time I saw him hanging around the Downfall bus. And because of stories like this, I was passionate to say, how can we save the next Momodus? And that's what this is going to be about. So how do we create platforms that can ensure that talents don't go undiscovered or unnurtured? And not just musical talents, all forms of talent. How can we ensure that we take the luck out of the process and guarantee their success? Yeah, Lagos State clearly, undisputed champion has been the creative center of Africa. We are blessed with an ocean of talent, but we are presently fetching those talents with a basket. And the consequence of that is that we are a lot of talent are leaking through. They are leaking through. We're losing them. And when we are losing them, we're not just losing them like that, right? We are losing them to crime, we are losing them to drugs, we are losing them to a whole lot of stuff, right? So, for example, look at this headline. Singer and pianist arrested for robbing Lagos. Clearly, it's because they've not become a success out of the talent and the skill sets that they do have, right? Please go on to the next slide. So, the key question then is, how can we make talent discovery, talent, sources of talent, how can we make it far less accidental? How do we make it far less accidental? And that's what Giddy Dome is about, right? So Giddy Dome is a physical, as you assume, that's just a reference, a physical and an institutional creative powerhouse that does creative, basically. It discovers, it nurtures and transfers creative talent of all kinds, not just music. That's what it does, right? So not just that, it is also going to be a platform for local talent, community talent, right, to exhibit their craft through performance and exhibition. So right now, what we do, the president that we have is, if you do not make it nationally or globally, you probably will never make money out of your talent, right? But we could actually create community theaters where, where you have sort of like Bronx rappers and stuff like that, where people can actually earn income at the community level from their talent, and they need a platform like the Giddy Dome to exhibit that, right? Please go on. So this is the process, It's going to start here. Here is Ola, very, very talented. So he goes to the nearest Giddy Dome in his community or his zone or one of the Ibiles, right? When he gets in there, his talent is acknowledged. Guy, don't worry, you're actually very, very talented. And we are going to take him through a pipeline that will ensure that he gets adequate education, and exposure that will help him refine his skills. Now, once he leaves this level, he goes to the next level. The next level is Ola begins to make money, right? Like I see, I refine. He begins to make money in his community, and he starts earning income from ticket sales. As a child, I remember we used to go all the way from my, house there in Alabiaga down to National Theatre to watch some of these stage dramas. We don't have platforms for people to sort of exhibit those talents anymore, right? So from there, once he becomes, he's doing all of that and he's refined more, we transfer him. Now, what we're going to do with this is, we at Giddy Dome, we are going to refine his skills, but there are also better leverage platforms that are more specialized than we are, right? We transfer him, to that platform, e.g. Mavis in this context. We're going to have an SLA agreement with Mavis to sort of refine his talent even better. After that is done, some of his, becomes very successful, globally or nationally successful. We can even make money as a state from selling some of his craft, his performances. We can make more money from that. I will give a further breakdown down the line, please. Yeah, these are the target numbers in 5 years. We believe with this platform we can actually, get a lot of talent to be discovered, right? 2,000 of them will be nurtured and developed to monetizable skill level. What that means is that if you can dance, you're a very good dancer, we can refine you, you can start selling your art within your community on the Giddy platform, right? Then 500 of those stars can be then transferred to a bigger platform, e.g. in this context, the Mavis, right? Then hopefully we create 10 creative global superstars will be made. We believe this is very, very much achievable. Please go down. Now, this is our plan instead of setting it up and what are the contributions expected, right? It's going to be a government-inspired or private sector managed platform. That's what it's going to be about. Lagos State government contribution is going to be bounded, right? We're going to ask that you help us institutionalize this, back it by law, which is exactly what we have with LCTF. Another thing we can do is also to lead the way for the private sector. The first Giddy Dome can be built and equipped by Lagos State government. If this is shown to be a success, we believe passionately that the private sector will jump on this and build all the domes in the other Ibile divisions. Now, that's that. Please go on. Next slide. Now, these are the things that we can get out of this from our perspective. Lagos State makes a bounded contribution, but the revenue and the income that can come from that is boundless. First, there is commission on sales. Can you do that? First, there's commission from sales of tickets during community shows, which is for us, right? Another is that we can have something coming to us from an SLA we signed with the talent, with the people that receive the talent after it's been refined. We're going to have increased, local economic activity at the local level, right? So much more we can do with this platform. Yeah. So we believe, of course, with this platform, we are going to be engaging a lot of idle hands. Clearly, taking them away from crime, taking them away from drugs. We are going to have to create a lot of role models out of these talents that we would have discovered, nurtured, and even transferred. I think that's that for now. Thank you.
Can we please put our hands together for Tony? Thank you so much for that. Giddy Dome sounds like a very, very exciting, project, and it would be absolutely beautiful to see that come to life. Okay, with that, we have heard from our 4 presenters here today on Emerging Hopes. Can we give them another round of applause, please? They worked very hard, very clearly on those presentations that we have seen, and again, the future definitely looks very hopeful and very exciting. We're going to very quickly hear from a last week recipient, Aisha Rahim. I'm just going to give her 1 minute to just quickly share with us what that experience has been like. Can we put our hands together for her? Aisha in the lovely orange dress.
Yes, evening everyone. I thought it was important that I speak on the benefits that Last Week has actually provided to our company. There are not enough of us speaking about the benefits that Last Week had. Maybe that's why it would appear that there isn't enough evidence of the importance of the program. But I'm a beneficiary, or our company is a beneficiary of both LSETF. When I first started pharmacy, I was working out of Art Cafe in Victoria Island, buying a chai latte to use that space, and then upgraded to LSETF, where we then had workspaces. After that, we got Last Week. Without Last Week, we wouldn't have had the lifeline to get Techstars, the Global Accelerator, and now just putting our next grade. So Last Week and LSETF have been very, very important in our journey. I do think there's a lot that there's a gap, or rather more can be done in terms of advocacy of the benefits of these programs. I try to do what I can, but this is just a reminder of an ex-president, US president, that said, it's not about what you can get from your country, but what you can do for your country. And that's something that I very much believe in the spirit of Lagos State, in terms of just telling the story about the benefits of what the state has done for me. And that's why I'm its biggest cheerleader, however I can.
Thank you so much, Aisha, for that. Thank you. Okay, it is time to move on to the real reason that we're here. Just a reminder that we're at this event that has been had in conversation with Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and we have come to that point where it's time to gist with Mr. Governor. But before we get to that, before we move to our gist couches, I'd like to ask that we all please rise and put our hands together once again as we welcome Mr. Governor. We'd just like to hear a few remarks, before we get into our interactive session.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you very much. Mimi, you've certainly not been fair to me. Okay, so we started this whole engagement at about 7:15. It's 9. It's dinner time, right? And it's now that I want to hear my gist. People are hungry. People need to get back to their cribs, or people just need to go do something else. It's been such a very difficult. But I think it's been an interesting evening for me personally. I've been well informed. I've seen what the minds of possibilities are, in this room, and I've also learned, a lot of new tricks and a lot of new things that are happening. But I think the way I'm going to start is really around first observing that when we had all the presenters, there were meant to be 4, right? We had 4 before the lady There was no, so on my table I thought I had 2 female and 2 male. I was excited. I thought, okay, so in all of it there is proper diversity and there is female inclusion. All of a sudden I hear that Talib now came and took the second slot for my second lady on my table. So going forward next time, we'll have to balance it. Gender balance, you know, and female inclusion. You know, we'll have to continue to do that. And that's number one. Number two is also to say that this Emerging Hope, I think is a new addition to it, and I think it's a very fresh one. I think it's indeed turned out to be, in my view, the real crescendo. That's a real, you know, conversations that indeed we want to have. And like I said, I've been thoroughly impressed tonight. But I think it would be unfair if I don't say how my day since yesterday had turned. Because when I was coming in, one of the first things I said after is, I'm tired, right? And even my voice reflects that. So I came back from a talk yesterday morning, right? And I went on campaign trail, and about 3:30, I had to travel to Abuja. I had meetings up until 1:30 in Abuja. I went to bed late. I woke up this morning again at 8 o'clock. I have to travel again back, not to Lagos, now to Akure. I go to Akure this morning. I have to go by journey on another road trip to Idori. I have to attend a burial service for our late, you know, Archbishop of Lagos. I have to travel back to Akure. I have to take a flight back into Lagos. I took a long drive back home, and I'm meeting people. I thought I was going to get like an hour sleep in between before I start the meet and greet, but the work doesn't allow it. So indeed, I'm stretched, you know, but I'm happy that, you know, we've been able to have this conversation this evening. And I think it's all about storytelling. I think it's all about everybody coming out to say how things have turned out for them. So I'm 56, 57, you know, having my new friend here, I'm sure he's in his late 20s or early 30s, you know, and I looked at him and I said that life is not fair. Anthony, life is not fair. You know, at 25, 24, 25, I thought I was the smartest kid there, right? So I left my job as a seismic surveyor. I was in a rig doing seismic data acquisition, right? I mean, if I know it was very fancy. We're about the highest paid, but I left. I left because I thought I wanted to do innovation, right? I set up a company called Dala Plumber at 24, going to 25. From the word, Dal a plumber. So we wanted to set up a company, a small engineering company that will be running, you know, and ensure that you can get plumbers, you know, carpenters, bricklayers, all of those things that you just need to come to your house and get fixed. But for you to work, you need to call us, right? That's why it's called DAL, D-A-I-L, right? Dal a plumber. Then, in 1992, right? It was 90, right? So you can see that it was an innovation, it was an idea that his time was 10 years ahead of his time. Generation. Right? So, I don't tell you, he died within 6 months. Because of course there were no telephones. We bought 2 telephone lines, they will never work. Half of the time we're going to Nigel office in Ipori to go, you know, check it out and down the things, and you know, but we had bought Dongaris, we had bought Vespa, you know, motorcycles with their toolbox for all of them to go work, but the phones will not work. But we know that people indeed needed them at some part in Lagos or something, but we couldn't reach. So it was an idea that was brilliant, but the mode of activating that idea, you know, was the fault, was the problem at that time, because telephones were not working. You know, there of course who knew computer, there was nothing like that. But even the simple basic things like telephone was not working. And it speaks to the story that Tony was also mentioning with his friend. You know, so if I don't pick myself up from there, well, I don't know what will have happened, because that was an idea in which we borrowed money from parents, from everybody, and died, you know, within 6 months. I'm sure everybody in this room has an experience as into what they wanted to do, how they want to turn out, how they plan their life, and things haven't really worked out, you know, that way. But it's important for me to also tell you and to share that experience with you, so that Hannah and Anthony and all of you know that at some point in time, we've had that idea as a young person in ourselves that we want to do something different. We want to do something, you know, that it might appear new, innovative at that time, but you need to be able to get the timing right. You need to know that what those crazy, innovative ideas that have is for now. You know, it's not like 10 years ahead of its time, you know, and it will. But so that's my own story about startups. That's my own, you know, unsuccessful startup experience. And I've been very, very weary and very scared to do another startup that is mine. So what I do is when I see them do startup, I'll just put small money there and I'll be watching them from afar. Hey, you're on definitely low level. You shouldn't go down. You shouldn't go down. And I didn't know that my son would be here. I just saw him now, but I mean, I'll keep his identity, but he's here somewhere. You know, so I've also supported it, and it's the same kind of business that Anthony is doing. You know, in our house now, we've got maybe like 20, 22 digital printers. Yeah, he's turned the whole place into all sort of digital printing because he also wanted to go and do animation. And they said to him when he finished school that the only school he could go to animation there was in Singapore. I didn't have the money. So I said, okay, don't worry, just go do something else. And he found himself doing the same kind of thing. Why am I sharing this story? Everybody has a story somewhere. The question we'll ask ourselves, how well have you been beaten down by that your story? How well have you been disadvantaged or been discouraged by that innovative idea that you have? It could be government, it could be government policy, it could be funding, it could be your parents not agreeing with you, it could be your spouse discouraging you, it could be your siblings not just encouraging you enough. Somewhere, somehow, right, you need to be able to put the pieces together. You need to first believe in yourself and ensure that what you feel is real, is genuine, and you want to drive your passion. I'm sure Mimi never studied broadcasting, but she's doing a wonderful thing, you know, being an on-air. There was one word to use that time. TMI. That's a new vocabulary. What's the
too much information.
Too much. I mean, it's so cool. Too much information. I mean, you know, these are some of the things that we are missing. You know, these are some of the little things that technology, innovation that you guys now have that 20, 25 years ago we didn't have. You know, so when I went into banking, then, you know, when I left and I lost my job and all of that, you know, banking was the easiest thing, well, not the easiest, it was the most fashionable thing to get to in the early 90s, because there were loads and loads of banks. So I got in there and I ran the bank, you know, it's not really about that. But I became a treasurer at some point, you know, in the banking, you know, yes, your word is your bond. Why am I going to, somebody said they wanted to be a Mayfield. You know, at that time, right, it was such a big issue. You want to transfer $5,000 or $2,000 to someone. Hello, you go to Central Bank, you fill 7 forms of something, you will need to go back to trade the next day, you will need to come back and even know your mother, your father, your grandfather, you will need to fill all of that. Today, right in your phone, you can get your Barclays app or whatever it is, Santander or whatever it is, and in 2 minutes, your cousin, your brother, anywhere, wherever part of the world is, they've got in their $2,000. Is it not so? Guys, you don't know what life you're living now. At that time, it takes 3 days. So you can imagine, you know, you have a bank check at that time, it takes 5 days clearing. You need to cross your leg, wait, before a single check gets cleared. Now, in 3 minutes, you can transfer money to anybody, anywhere. So you can see that indeed, we're moved or we're moving, you know, in life. Some of us were not this opportune at your age to have all of this innovative and innovation, you know, at that time. So I needed to explain some of this background so that with those kind of backgrounds we know that indeed as a country, as a state, as people, there have actually been movements, you know, in our life. This is me in still my under 60 and I've seen a lot of transformation. I have seen, like I said, from me waking to talk to New York, you know, at 3 o'clock and wait for them to when they close at about 11 p.m. to know that my transfer has gone before I can go home. To me now, you packers, in 5-10 minutes, it's all done and there's nothing for you to worry about. So indeed, you see that world has moved and we all need to just understand the space and where we are. Can I just answer that?
Yes, you can absolutely answer that.
But see, it's this today is about the 15th governor and what the challenges and the opportunities have been. Right? Nobody was born, one day to say, I'm going to become a governor. Nobody was born to say, I'm going to be one day. Maybe some pastors or some man can say, you're going to be great. But it would be tough for them to have said that you're going to be this. So you're not born, to imagine that that's who you're going to become. But the opportunities and all of that will turn your way along the line. So fast forward, right? We got sworn in 3.5 years ago. And we came in at a time in which we knew we needed to do things differently. We said to ourselves that we've had 6 pillars of an economic agenda, which Sam, talked about, traffic management and all of that, entertainment and tourism, making Lagos into 21st century, governance and security and all of it. But the bottom line was that we just didn't wake up and thought of those pillars. It was a thought-out process with our citizens at that time that we have engagement with to say, what should we be doing, for you? What should we do once we come in, and what are the problems and challenges that you have that you want us to solve? So traffic management in itself became one of the strongest main to-do lists for us as a government. Right, and I'll just explain in 2-3 things what we've done, even on that single pillar alone. Because for me, it will take almost 3 years to talk about all of the 6 pillars in detail. So on traffic management, just so you to know that we're extremely very, very accountable. We said we wanted to reduce journey time. We want to give people options, choices on how they move from one part of the city to the other. Have we solved all the problems? The answer is no. Are we on the right track to ensure that we solve as many of those problems? Yes. But what have we done? We said we wanted to have an integrated urban mass transportation system. Listen to my word. Integrated urban mass transportation system. Integrated because we're in mega city, and in most mega cities of the world, there are choices of how you need to come in, with public transportation. Right? So the only one that we see, that we know today, are the road infrastructure, road traffic, road movement and transportation. And so what have we done? Modestly, we've added about close to 2,000 new high-capacity buses into the street of Lagos. We've added close to 1,000 medium-capacity buses. We've added about 500 last-mile buses. We've added about 1,000 taxis, all on the road infrastructure. Just so that people have choices, even in that road infrastructure, which is called the bus or the taxi movement. You can move from the high-capacity bus that you want to go, or to the lag ride, which is a taxi in which you and the driver, you want to have your own space, and that in itself is choice, because it's a single payment, but you have choices of where and how you want to move. But we didn't stop at that. We looked at the opportunity that nature has given Lagos, which is that 1/3 of Lagos is water. So how well are we doing? How well are we using that opportunity to solve transportation issue in Lagos? I'm glad to announce to you that we're building 17 various terminal in Lagos. We've completed 9. And remaining 6 in Australia. There's some people in this room that also even run one of those jetties for us. What will that do? Right? Or what have we done? The ones that we've completed that are working, is also added to procure high capacity ferries. So we have 60-seater, 50-seater, 20-seater ferry services, for people to move from one part of the city to the other. What we've been able to do with that is Ikorodu to Marina, for example, or Ikorodu to Laswa, where you now follow, that either will take you about 1.5 to 2 hours. You can do it actually in 35-40 minutes. Right? The numbers are not still enough, but you can see that we're on the track to ensure that we're providing. Mind my word, it's still choices and opportunities that we're providing. That's how I started this conversation. Right? We want people to be able to have an integrated urban mass transportation system. It was a well thought out vision, right? So within the waterways, right, we're building those jetties. There are like many small terminals in which they can park and they can onboard and you can come down, right? You say that you don't know that there are so many of them around. Yes, there are, because the population in the city is so huge that people are actually using them, right? But we needed to do a lot more. How? Let's get a lot of private sector bring the stock, the rolling stock here at the ferry, the ferry boats, so that we will have a lot more ferry boats, on
on our waterways that can bring people quicker and faster. We've done about 30, that's a small amount. There's somebody here that is also building additional 30 for us over the next year or 2 years or so, because we also want to encourage local capacity. They are building 50 seater or 60 seater for us, and we've commissioned them so that they can build a lot. So, but we need a lot more people to do that. Like I said, we've completed some of the ferry terminals. Some are also going to be completed before the end of our administration and into the second administration. So that's the plan B. That's the second one. The third one, to still complete the circuit of integrated urban mass transportation system with the rail infrastructure. So because I needed to explain this so that just on that line alone, we're not just doing one thing, we're doing all of the things that we needed to do. Because the objective at the end of the day is we wanted to have better choices. We wanted to have more predictable journey time. We want workers, we want your staff to not give reasons or excuses why they cannot get to places where they need to get to. So with the rail infrastructure, I'm happy, and I think you've all seen it. It's no longer a fluke. It's no longer a story that will rail work in Lagos. It will work, and it is working. The blue line will be completed and will ensure that we do the physical infrastructure completion before the 31st of December 2022. It's a great commitment, and we will keep it. Which is the blue line. The blue line moves from Mile 2 to Marina. Marina is an iconic station that I'm truly proud of. If you get there, all those your Liverpool station as always, Charles Play. They have when you get there, you know what was done. So that will be from Mile 2. There's a phase 2 of it from Mile 2 that will take you all the way back to Okomaiko. The beauty of that phase 2 is that it's at green level, meaning we're not building any elevation, and the right of way for that infrastructure has been kept. So it's also been, it's just plug and play. We put the rails there, and we build the station, and we should finish it, quicker and faster. But let me give credit, because the blue line was started by my predecessor, who, when we were in government that time, we took the decision and said we wanted to build an intra-city rail infrastructure. But I'm happy that your government now has put more resources to it. We spend more money on the blue line than my predecessor did. And that's why we can get to the completion. But the beauty for us is actually the red line. Because the red line, this administration started it from scratch. And by the grace of God, we will complete it before May 29th. In fact, within the first quarter of 2023. So the rail line moves from the place called Alagbado, is an outskirt of Lagos going into Ogun State, and it takes you all the way to Ibute Meta. It's got overpasses, it's got train stations, and everything will be completed. This is one that we've started from beginning to the end. Sam has also mentioned that in our blueprint is for us to do 6 rail projects. The others have gone through all sorts of tenders that they're doing, AIA, they're doing studies, they're doing viability and feasibility studies. We want the private sector to be part of it. And so let me go back and explain the word again. It is for us to have road infrastructure, for us to have waterways infrastructure, and to have rail infrastructure. That is what makes it an integrated urban mass transportation system, in which you can hop in and hop off, in which you can have a single payment solution, where you have your carrying card designed by 26, 27-year-old Lagosians, in which you've sold over 1 million of it, and then the ones that will be carrying, like your Oyster card, that will be carrying the payment engine on this solution. And that's what we've done. It's real, it's something you can feel, it's not a fluke, it's not in the air. And by the way, we're the only sub-national anywhere that we've seen that is doing a real project end-to-end by itself. So people come and tell us, we've done it in Ethiopia, we've done it in Rwanda, we've done it, and I say, yes, we are comparing a sovereign to a sub-national. People mix it up. So we need to just make this point so that you leave with a lot more information, you leave with a lot of engagement, understanding of how it's been and what the journey has been. And in all of this, we've done this with all sense of modesty in an era in which we had COVID that slowed us down for about a year and 3 months. But we're not about excuses. We're not about giving reasons why things fail or why things are not working. We're about a government that will keep our word and ensure that we can push it to a logical conclusion. So for me, it's not about what I want, it's about what you have asked us to do. We want you to have a better journey experience on a road. Every major city in the world, one of the strongest points they have, which makes them, livable, is resilient sustainability, public transportation. How efficient, how effective are the things. Because we believe that once we solve all of that, you will have more predictable time, and you can, reduce wastages, on the road. You can empower your staff a lot more, and you can have a better economic development. Not only did we do that in reducing traffic management, there are places, there are areas in which you all live that we've removed roundabouts completely. It was well thought out. It's not just something that we bumped into. Because we realize that first, we don't even understand, the geography, of being roundabouts, all around there, and itself, they constitute, impediment. And so we removed all of them on the Lekki-Ekpe axis. There are no roundabouts there, and we're just putting traffic signal. Similarly, into other parts of the city, you go to Allen Avenue roundabout, it's not there. You go to Ikoto, it's not there. It's part of traffic management and transportation. It's still the first pillar. And if you go to other parts of the city again, we begin to see CCTV cameras being installed. We gave a commitment and said that we want to build a smart city. We want to build a city that is working, that is functional. And part of the things that technology has shown us, with Anthony and all of them have spoken about, let's use what the opportunity that technology has given to us. Right now, we're deploying the first set of 2,000 high-definition cameras around the city. Some you have seen, some they've even given me name and say, Sanwo-Olu, you want to do Big Brother for us again, you want to be monitoring us? Yes, I want to. Because what that will do for us, apart from managing and seeing how traffic moves, it also helps us with traffic management, it helps us with security, it helps us with emergency. And so we've started that. And the plan is over the next couple of years to get up to 10,000 cameras. So you can see that it's like a circle, but we're trying to connect all of the dots quietly, and patiently. So in that first pillar, we deliberately want to ensure that we can show performance. We can let our people know what we've done. I can go on and on. The second pillar means health, and environment. This government, in 3.5 years, we've handed over 5 new hospitals. We've handed over a maternal and child hospital in Benin. We've done the same in Badagry. We've done the same in Etiosa. We've done the same in Alimosho. I'm sure we all know where all these places are. These are real hospitals we have commissioned and handed over to our people. We're building the biggest children's hospital, pediatric hospital in the whole of Sub-Saharan Africa. The new massive children's hospital on 10 floors. We're building the biggest mental rehabilitation hospital in Sub-Saharan Africa, in Ketu, with 500 beds. Mental home, health issues, rehabilitation is real. I'm there to put those investments there. We're building a massive general cardiothoracic hospital in Ojo. We're working with the private sector to build 2 cancer centers concurrently in Lagos. The private sector handed over a radiology center for us and Lagos Island. At the end of all of this, we're trying to have under our SHIFT program access where it will be held for all. We have our ILERA, which is like a health insurance scheme, which has added close to about $1 million, about 700,000 right now, and we're doing it in conjunction with private hospitals. So all of our 30 or 31 general hospitals and LASU might not be enough. So we're partnering about 120, 130 private hospitals, and it's all capitation that we're trying to resolve. Meaning that with ILERA, you don't necessarily have to only visit a government hospital, go to some of these private hospitals that are on our, and you can get service on specific schemes. And Falake had mentioned here now what we need to do, emergency response. That's also one area in which you build the resilience of a mega city of the status of Lagos. Emergency is one of the critical things that you need to also measure the standard of livability of cities. How quickly do your people, get, taken out of trouble? And for us, maybe we have not done it at the level in which Falake is talking about, but in terms of responding and broken down on the road, fire response, container terminal falling down, trailers falling on the street, I know how much of traffic these things cost. And so you saw us in one day commissioning 64 new fire engine trucks. We're buying new cranes so that we can take these things off the road very, very quick. It will always happen because we're a big city, but it's our ability to respond when it happens. That's what makes it a livable system. That's what makes it a resilient system. It's the ability to function and take these things off the road. And these are some of the capabilities that we're building. I can go on and on. In schools, for example, modestly in 311, we built over 1,000 new classrooms. Yeah, my word, 1,000. Over 1,000 new classrooms. We've done almost 1,000 projects in education, both primary and secondary schools. We've handed over 35,000, tablets to our primary school teachers. We did not go to primary school; they are meant to be local government, but we're intervening because we realize that it's from primary school that you can start building blocks before they get to secondary school. We're teaching them, we're training them, we're giving them skills. COVID has taught us that we needed to be innovative. And so during that period, we needed to go digital. And we're beginning to see the results. Ask your cousins, ask your brothers. In 2019, when we came in, the average pass result for coming from Lagos was about 45–46%. I'm glad to announce to you in 2022, we're moved to over 80%. So it means that our intervention results are beginning to yield results. We're not just paying teachers, we're not just recruiting over 5,000 additional, we're actually encouraging them. For 3 years successively, we've been identifying the best teachers in all of our schools, and we're giving them all of the things they require, including giving them car gifts to continue to motivate them so that they can teach our children. Now we're seeing people taking their kids from private school, because we have different categories of private schools, we're taking them back to public schools. It's real. Because of the level of commitment and the level of intervention that we're putting there. And so these are some of the things that we're seeing. Throughout the very unfortunate 8 months of ASU strike, not one day did my own higher institution went on strike. Not one day. And the additional information is, and we had only one state university for 40 years. Guess what? Brought 2 additional state universities. From 1 to get an approval for 2 additional ones. So meaning that what you are talking about, the concerns you have about education, how do you take them up, are the things that we're solving. And we're taking them into places and areas of the future of work, in technology, in ensuring that we can get people that will train and teach our students. And that's where we're intervening. And those are places where it might not be that apparent to most of us in this room. Because I will be one of the first person I will agree that people have not advertised ourselves enough. We have not sold ourselves enough. But we just wanted to go get the work done. And let the work speak for us. And that's what we'll be doing. And there's so many others we can talk about. You see, road. The very next street here, I just finished it up. The very next street here. Next street here. As we're touching roads in Ikoyi, we're building the best for you and your parents. We're touching roads in Ajibula, in Bakadoso. We're touching roads in Ikorodu. We're touching roads in Badagry. We're touching roads in Epe. We're touching roads in Amuwotofi. We're touching roads in Sanwo-Olu. Every part, in Japa, every part of it. No place left for construction. Sir? Reed Road, yes. That's where you live. You see, Anthony lives on Reed Road. I just finished Reed Road. So when we talk, you know, we make it very personal and we make it informative. I didn't know, but I know that Reed Road is right next to, and I know we'll fix it. So it's not a government that you know tells you that go and check our website. We will give you information. But is our job done fully yet? No. Have we completed? No, we haven't. But do we have the audacity and have the sense and the purpose to do a lot more than what we've done? Yes. Because I've listened this evening and I've listened very well. I've realized that we need to do a lot more similar engagement like this. We need to build partnerships. We need to understand and appreciate that where governments do not have any form of comparative advantage, let it slow down. Let it create a relevant ecosystem where the private sector, where you all can take the leadership position. Because indeed, you are the ones that can create the jobs. You are the ones that can build about the economy. Government itself is meant to be an enabler. A provider of a platform in which you cannot glide on. And that's what we're about. And that's what we want to do. And that's what we need to jointly co-create. I'm happy with the observation of Kanu when he came up and talked about the fact that they researched on last week and that they found out that they're transparently we've done some things, but probably we could have done a bit better. But there's also somebody that also came up and validated and said that I have been a beneficiary. We don't know it all. All I wanted to do at that time was put a team together, which we did. We went to the University of Lagos, we looked for people that are best in class, put them together. Please, you don't need to know me. I don't even want to know who you give these things. Identify skills, identify youth, identify startups, give them grants. Will some of those grants go bust? Maybe that's the thing that has happened. But some of them too have turned to be very huge successful stories. We hear that some of them have been patented and they are being taken out. They're being taken out of the country to also further deepen them. So the idea is that we probably will not be 100% successful, but at least we're giving a room, we're giving an opportunity to someone. And by the way, Act of Technology is actually going on right now. It started today and it's on till tomorrow. You need to invite Patricia because it's an Oriental and it's for 2 days. That's usually a yearly
landmark, sir. Landmark.
Oh, it's landmark this year. I thought it was Oriental. Bigger, sir. There's a landmark lady there. Yes. Me also. So in fact, you will see this is a space for you. We take the grants to secondary school now. We're identifying creative minds from secondary school. So maybe one of the things is that we need to make learning deeper, more broader, and more engaging.
So all of the beneficiaries still exist.
They still exist. So Too Much Sweet is a special advisor tech. You know, he's smarter than me. He just tells me big grammar. I don't even understand half of it. You know, and you can see the geek himself. So he's in the cabinet. And that's one of the beauty of our cabinet. They are under 40. Too Much Sweet is mid-30s. And he's been there for 3.5 years. We picked him up at 32 or 33. And that's what we're building. I'm happy you also mentioned about Employment Trust Fund, LSETF. That's also one of my success stories that I'm indeed happy that LSETF had built, a lot of opportunities for people. But maybe it needs a lot more to be able to do a lot more. And that's the challenge of paucity of funds and all of that. And so you can see that our government is not just ordinary brick and mortar who wants to be able to use the platform for engagement, who want to build partnership, who want to be able to use it as an opportunity to create the growth trajectory that works. And one of the ways that I think we're achieving the result is engagement like this. I think so that I leave room for questions, for clarification, for hard conversations that you might want to throw at me. Knowing you well that I'm tired, please be nice to me a little bit. Be nice to me, right? But I mean, I'm excited and I'm happy to be here with you this evening. If there are any other ones you want to bring forward, if it is in power, if it is in housing, if it is in security, if it is in governance, there's still so many that one can indeed talk about if it's specific, if it's clarifications or additional information that you require. Thank you very, very, very much.
Mr. Governor has just shared his very extensive schedule over the last 48 hours with us. He's been through three states in Nigeria with little to no rest. So at this point, I just want to assure you that we will take it easy on you. We will take a few questions. I'd like to encourage us to please keep our questions very brief and straight to the point. Someone said earlier, short and sweet. This is the time to put that into action. So if we can please just make our questions very short, very sweet, and straight to the point. Okay, we have one question over there. We have another, and we have three. Okay, so I just wanted I think the way we'll do it is we'll take 3 in batches, exactly. So if we can start with the gentleman in mint. Yes. So please, a reminder that I would like for you to introduce yourself very quickly. Tell us your name, what you do, and get to your question.
My name is Tunde Balogun. When I was introducing myself, I know was kind of having a conversation with you. So I'm the founder and CEO of Small Technology. We have products like Rent Small, Buy Small, and Stay Small. And we've been making changes in the housing space for the past 4 years. One problem that I think people over the years, and which Lagos State government governors from the previous predecessor have really talked about, is monthly rental in Lagos State. And I know you've also made statements around that. Against all odds, we've been able to achieve some success with that, with Rent Small, which has now grown to become Buy Small. And for me, I mean, tomorrow I'll be flying to Thailand, where I lived for 5 years in Asia, and I was able to see how the housing industry really developed in that nation. My university where I did my master's, they invited me to speak at the graduation ceremony, which is happening on Sunday. And again, first for a Nigerian in an Asian country to be the speaker at the graduation ceremony for a university. But the thing for me is the level of growth I saw in the housing industry in Thailand, how they were able to turn things around, and I really would love to see that in Lagos to pioneer that. This is what it means for me. A lot of developers are building 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom. We're not building to the needs of the population. A lot of, when I was moving back in 2015, I wanted to buy a studio in 1 bedroom. I couldn't find a studio 1 bedroom to buy. Now, because of what Rent Responsible has done, a technology company, we've been able to, we are speaking to a lot of developers that are now building studio 1 bedrooms. We are showing them data. A lot more could be done in that area because Lagos State government also is building houses.
Can we get right to the question, please?
I know the question. I think the government is getting it. So, and I know your history with housing as well. So why is Lagos State government building 3 bedrooms apartment when we should be building studios 1 bedrooms that meet the demand of the population? And this will also challenge these developers that are growing for 25%, 30% margin by building 4-bedroom houses that someone will buy with stolen money. So that's my...
Great. you were almost getting into the answer to your question there. We're going to take the next question behind you. Please, another reminder that we keep the questions very short and straight to the point.
So I'll help the governor with the last question. I live in Lagos, so I'm a beneficiary of Lagos. So I got my first house through Lagos. But one thing that is significant about Lagos is that we applied online. We didn't know anybody. It was very transparent. People call, even the call center will call you if your documents are not complete and all of that. Like they say, the rest is history. We're a proud homeowner. But one thing about, and I'm just going to focus on the other side, which is when Mr. Governor gets into his second term, the challenge I'm posing to the governor is the energy transition plan for Lagos. If you look at today in most housing infrastructure, everybody is putting on generators. A lot of businesses are powered by generators. And with the size of Lagos, what would be the energy transition plan for Lagos, considering the number of businesses and population that is currently my name is Kola Oshino and I run a clean tech company called Babajide.
And we'll take our third question from, yes.
My name is Ajibola. So my question is actually directed towards, now we've listened to the accelerated growth that Lagos is actually aspiring in the next couple of years. Now, how exactly are we prepared long-term for this growth? Now, there will definitely be influx of people coming into Lagos to, make ends meet in terms of security, in terms of housing, in terms of transportation, in terms of, even employment. How prepared is Lagos long-term, 10 years, 15 years, even 20 years from now to actually accommodate this growth that we're looking at? Thank you.
So we'll take one more from the lady over here in the glasses.
Thank you, Mr. Governor, for this privilege. My name is Dabira Oluwadeyinka. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm also a political activist. And I've seen a lot of areas that have been touched. But I'm going to a little bit deviate because I'm more connected to the grassroots. So I'm going to be talking about the non-educated. How is the state factoring them into the system whereby we don't have more of the people constituting unnecessary, nuisance, like we said. A mind that is disengaged can actually engage in any form of thing. So I'm thinking, can there be a set out somewhere around the state where you can have a community of people like an entrepreneurship or city, like the way China is growing right now? They engage people. People don't really have to go to school. We have a lot of people in their 30s, late 20s, down to 40s that can go into this community, start engaging and go into productions, like all of us in this room are wearing clothes, all of us are wearing shoes. There can be a community that is powered by the state that can take in some of these people and they produce, and as well it turns into, you know, economical growth for the state, whereby it can be even be branded in the state, whatever it is. I don't know. I think that is very, very essential. We need to include that in whatever it is we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the questions. Today, Balogun, thank you. I wish you could take me to Thailand. And you are right. You know, I was once a developer myself, and I have been, before now, I've been an advocate for the type of houses that we're talking about, the type of flats, because I know that it's only studio, one bedroom, given the demography of the people that are, you know, the young population, and also the demography of people that truly really, you know, can or are looking for houses. We actually need that, but there's a limit to what we can. We are just, I mean, in the last year, we've commissioned about 15 or 17 housing projects, 18 housing projects. Right? I would agree with you. We have some, a lot of them that are 3-bedroom, but I think the largest number are usually 2-bedroom and 1-bedroom. We've got a lot of 3-bedrooms. So one of the things that has happened is also where those the developments are, right? So they are, sometimes our JV partners will tell us, you know, based on their research, you know, the Shell trustees or something that wants to take a 4-bedroom out of it, so they want to cater for that, right? And I say that there's some married people that will take it. But I take your point. I take your point that for most developers now, they need to begin to look for high density studio flats, 1-bedroom flat, maximum 2-bedroom, that will give us that scale that we'll require. Just today again, or yesterday, they started the what's the event that you're doing at the hotel, La Serrera, which is the, I'm sure you're aware of it. These are some of the conversations they are supposed to have, and where we're meant to be working with the developers. And some of those developers were also saying to them that, let's, you know, handhold you. We also know what people are asking of us, you know, for them to do, right? And you are right. That's the way it should be. A lot of people, when they do the 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom, how many people can actually afford it, right? And what are the returns that you get from it? So the point is, even we as a government, we need to go that line a lot. But like I said, we're doing a lot more 1-bed and 2-bed as against 3-bed, 4-bed. That either currently, either before now. But that's the way to go. That's really what people require. That's what people want. So Shino talked about energy transition, right, and what's our plan. About a month ago, we actually launched, officially, our energy transition roadmap, right? This was after an extensive 2-year study, you know, paid study by the US government. We worked with them, you know, under their energy, US Africa Power Initiative, right? So they actually sat with us, and we brought in consultants, you know, for about 24 months. So we know now, what our entire energy require will be for between now and 2050 or thereafter. There's a projection for the next 25, you know, for the next 25 years. For Lagos, which takes us about 15,000 megahertz. So the point is, how do we now transit, and what kind of energy mix do we need to have for us to transit to that? You know too well the challenges that we have, you know, with the architecture of our distribution network, our generation network in the country right now. However, that has, you know, there's been some advanced conversations where, you know, some of them have been gone through now. We currently also have a bill in our House of Assembly that will give us that ability and capacity for us to be able to go into direct either generation, right, or distribution directly. But we needed to have a law. You know, so that law is currently with the House of Assembly. But coming out from that law, one of the things that you will see that we hope is to have different energy mix. You know, while we're not going to be relying on only just one major source of energy supply, which is gas, let's see how renewables can come on board. How all of those buildings we're doing, how we can put solar panel, you know, on all of them, how we can ensure that a lot of the markets, you know, now have other sources of
energy, not just not just the general, not just the general national grid, exactly, national grid power as well. How do we need to do a lot of off-grid power generation? We have started. We have about 6 small IPPs that we are running right now, but they're still dependent on gas. But how do we need to further transit, from gas to, renewables, which will be further, deepen. So it's all of us. It's all of us. But we need the right law. We need the right space for us to, because we're continuously fighting with the discos. The discos are the major problems that we have. Fine, they will tell you that the generations are not getting together, but the major problem are the 2 discos that we have. But the beauty of it is that we are working together. They've agreed that they need us as much as we need them. So I believe that in the next, you said that in my second time I've not won election, you should vote. So, so I mean, when that happens, we're not leaving anything to that. And part of our intervention is that last year, but we actually got about 20,000 meters. This is part of our own intervention that we wanted to give it to some vulnerable locations like Ikorodu and Alimosho, where they are giving them, estimated bills, right? And they're saying to them, they should come and buy meters for 70,000 and 80,000. How can they afford it? So as part of our own energy intervention, we bought some of those meters and we're working with them to ensure that we can, fix some of these meters in some of these houses, and they can get proper bill on their utilization, on a monthly basis. We're not meant to be doing this, but this is like a grant that we're doing for the energy sector, just to show our own commitment, to that. So we have a detailed energy transition program, and a working document that we actually launched about a month ago. And so if you are interested, maybe 2 or so, the guy is not here, Commissioner for Energy. It's something that you can pick up and read. Yeah, and it should even be online. It should have put it online. But about a month ago we launched. Ajibola asked about what is the plan for the future, how we're ensuring that, where's Ajibola? Oh yeah, okay. So Sam actually did a presentation, but he did not explain to you some of those slides. During our last economic summit, which was the end of the summit, we actually did a bold step. We launched a 30-year development plan, which we call the Lagos 30-year development plan, 2022 to 2052. No government has ever done that. In that plan, he told us about 4 thematic areas, and it was a place where we were talking about Initiative 169, Initiative 70-something, Initiative. That's what he was talking about. But probably just because of time, he didn't explain further. So we've done a very big, we've done a very deep, well thought out, Lagos development plan. And this was done by a consortium of some of the biggest, consultant firms in the world. Over the last 18 months to 2 years, they've been doing the study for us. So we have a document. We've launched the document during our economic summit. It's live. It's a document that is available. It's a document that is on our website. And coming out from that document has shown where we need to be between now and 2052, and what areas do we need to have intervention, including things around climate change and the rest of that there. And I think the 4 thematic areas are human capital, which is that we want to build a human-centric Lagos. We want a Lagos where the likes of they want 1,000 animationists, let them come to Lagos. The likes of Gidi Do, they want 1,000 creative, like you said, they want 1,000 creative, practitioners come to Lagos. The Microsoft, we signed, and then we were Microsoft. If you sign it, we're with them in Dubai about 3 months ago, where they're drawing up a plan that for the next 10 years, they probably need to put about 5 million Nigerians. And we said to them that Lagos will be able to provide about 1.5 to 2 million of them. So these are all areas of tech startups, tech experts that them, that want to build capacity. So the plan is for us to make Lagos like a human capital hub for the world. When you think of where you need to get resources, where you think where you need to have, the brains that you require, think of Lagos. And that's one of the reasons why We're able to get to universities. Well, that's one of the reasons we're trying to build, hubs and campuses, all around, where we're actually developing intentionally the future of work. Right. But that does also answer the question around how do we do with migration. Unfortunately, we don't have control over that. We can only but plan. Do you understand? We cannot put a border post at Ojota and say people cannot come. We can only but continue to plan. Thank you. Right, she talked about the vulnerable in our society, what is our plan for them and how are we taking care of them. Well, I'm glad to announce to you that it might appear as if we're not doing a lot, but we're indeed doing a lot. We have today about 34 vocational centers in the state. And all the vocational centers, what they're doing is that it's all free skills acquisition that they are transferring to people. And it's for the vocational people, so it's for the vulnerable people that you're talking about. Every 3 months, every 3 to 4 months, they graduate about 5,000 people. About 5,000. And after the end of the graduation, we give them equipment, free. We give them equipment on whatever vocation that they've been trained on for them to go start up their life. And this is happening till today. 34 different vocational centers are what we have. And I think Aisha and the rest of them, these are some of the information that they can pass around when we come to events like this so that they can know where all the vocational centers are. And so they are training them, in their hundreds and in their thousands, just so that we don't leave anybody behind. In things around, soap making, air drying, tie dye, whatever it is, they have all kind of skills, that are being given to them. And we're doing similar thing even for graduates. We have a graduate internship program that we started about 2 years ago, where over 2,000 graduates are being pushed on an internship program where we're paying for it. You understand? We put them, your graduates, they go through our tests. So once you take it, we attach them to blue-chip companies, we attach them to companies that they want to work with. But who ordinarily says that where is experience, you don't have experience. So we put them on a 6 months internship, they take them in, and we pay their salary for 6 months. And one of the things is the result that came out of it, about 70 to 75% of them, they got employed at the end of the day. So you can see that those interventions have worked. But they didn't want to take them because they wanted people that have experience. Okay, we'll pay while they are learning those experiences. And at the end of the day, they got recruited. So this is a program that I'm sure that will continue again next step. We've started doing it, and you can go Google it and find it. It's called Lagos State Graduate Internship Program. Okay? Thank you very much.
Okay, I think we'll just take 3 more questions. And then we can wrap up. I'm going to be a bit biased now because I know that gender parity means a lot to Mr. Governor. So I'm going to hear from some ladies, yes. So we'll hear from the lady over there. I know your hand was up before the gentleman, and I know that you raised your hand as well. You are speaking for women. So let's get those first 3 questions and see how. Okay, Mr. Governor said we'll let you speak. So we'll start with you, and you.
Good evening again. My name is Trisha. So I have 2 short questions because I'm going to be very brief. The first is, during your first tenure, Mr. Governor, sir, one of the promises you made was to build the Lekki Coastal Road. And since you've been talking a lot about road management, traffic, we see that the population is moving to these axes. What's the plan for the Lekki Coastal Road? Because it's still undone. That's the first question. The second is, what is the state doing to help traditional businesses? So I know a lot of focus has shifted to tech, but the manufacturing sector is still a huge contributor to jobs in the states and in the country at large. So we see with power issues, the margins are constantly being eroded. So does the Lagos State government have any plan for co-working, co-packing spaces, or manufacturing hubs where I can just come and put my products on a line, so I don't have to run my own gen and run my own power, and I can improve my margins. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Governor. From the Honorable Commissioner's presentation, he talked about the intermodal transport system. Now, there's green line, the blue line, and the red line. I want to ask Mr. Governor, is there a way we can allow private investors to have their own coaches other than the government coaches? So they can be shop and we can have more coaches that can run through that line and take more people to the destination. That's the housing system. Mr. Governor, we were at some time at LSPPC, we were at GMJ sometimes, and houses were sold then around 23 something million, and the prices are being high at this time. And I have worked with Lekki Gardens, and I remember we were the first to crash the price of housing in Lekki. Now, can we repeat say in the QP arrangement with the government, whereby we have access to land that has CO, apply with the FBN, that's the Federal Mortgage Bank, and be able to develop something like Jack on the estate? Is it possible, sir?
Thank you very much, sir. My name is Oluwatobi Ogunlesi, and I want to speak to the Lagos State Transport Management Authority last month. In addition to the traffic management plan, roundabouts and the installation of cameras around Lagos, I want to know what the government is doing on behavioral orientation for last month of that's the first question. The second one is there are still some bus stops causing traffic in Lagos, most especially the Sanwo-Olu in the mornings, and you realize that the traffic going towards the island is caused by most of the cars at the bus stop. And the third one is on traffic offences. I mean, we know that there are innocent traffic offenders, and I would just like to ask, what is the place of pardon for first offenders? I mean, a system that tracks plate numbers and reports them into a database that the government can, or necessary agencies can, check for first offender, second offender, fourth offender, and then, I mean, by the fourth time, there can be a sanction or a punishment. Thank you very much.
Can we please keep the noise level down, please?
Okay, good evening, Mr. Governor, once again. And thank you very much for Lagos State University, actually. I graduated very early because of what you did in my school. So I'm a thorough beneficiary of all your programs. I was a former Lagos State Youth Ambassador, and now I am a United Nations Youth Representative. And I stand here, I said earlier I was going to speak for women. So everything I'm going to be saying is basically how we can ensure that the other part of our population is included in all our programs. So I'm going to be speaking for vulnerable girls in vulnerable communities in Lagos. Now, I am very well informed about the plans of Lagos to achieve demographic dividend amongst other things. Now, I'm talking about girls in secondary schools and primary schools who have just started their menstruation. Ladies in the room, I'm sure you know how much sanitary pad costs now. So I would like to ask, is there any way, Mr. Governor, that you can help maybe create something like a pad bank in some communities where girls who have just started their menstruation and can access pad within their school structure? Because data shows that a lot of girls miss their school, and this is reducing productivity, and they are missing classes that they might never get to learn about again. Now, how can we help them with that? Now, my second question is on comprehensive sexuality education in secondary schools. Now, Mr. Governor, I live in Agege,
And my work span across the entire southwest of Nigeria, and of course, Lagos specifically. And I know the amount of young girls that are currently pregnant just because they do not have comprehensive sexuality education at an early age. And this is a menace because it's going to reduce the amount of girls that we would have in our industries, in our schools, who are going to be inventors because their dreams have been cut short by early pregnancy. Now, I want to plead with you, Mr. Governor, how can we ensure that we have comprehensive sexuality education being taught in our secondary schools, at least from GS level, so that we can reduce the rate of teenage pregnancy in Lagos, increase productivity, and have more girls? As I said, we want to make Lagos a human capital hub. Let us have girls represented as best as we can. Thank you, sir. George Ajeti.
And I pleaded that you people should be nice to me. Yeah? You'll be very nice, eh? Questions are, eh? Okay. Fisher. Yes. Lekki Coastal Road, where you with it, and rest of it. So, straight up. So if you look at what we're doing, we needed to make a choice, right, between building the regional road or building the regional or the coastal road, right? Federal government has given us some leeway to say that it will help us with the coastal, but because of where the traffic also starts from, which is right from Babajide, Sonya, Ajah, VGC, up to Chevron, we had done extensive traffic study to show that a bypass from that express road will be a quicker relief that is required. That's number one. Number two, it also became an important component that we needed to do for us to be able to activate the development of our fourth main. And I will explain. So we took it to start the regional road first. What is the regional road? This is the route that starts from immediately after VGC by the west, that petrol station, northwest petrol station. You make a right, and it's almost 10 kilometers, and it's 6 lanes. It's 6 lanes that we're building. It has a bridge component. It goes over water at the back before it gets to Agugi, right? And it goes all the way to the end of Freedom Road, right? That for us is a classic relief and an alternative that is being provided for everybody from that corridor. So as you're coming right away from Ajah and the rest of it, and you don't have any business going towards, second roundabout or even going towards it, you can make that tour, right? And you can go all the way right down, right? And like I mentioned, it's also helped us to reduce the burden on that Lekki Expressway and make the financial numbers of the fourth mainland bridge bankable and doable, because it's been stretched, to the highest level. And the fourth mainland bridge is starting from Ajah, almost opposite Abraham and goes all the way, there. We're trying to preserve it, it's still there. But there's so much that Africa can chew at the same time, right? We looked at it and we looked at the number and we look at the impact, right, of which one will give a lot more impact for our people immediately and relief. And we believe the regional road will show that. Because the traffic is actually people coming from, from that whole area back into the island, not people going, from the island, because in the morning that's really what you want. People are coming from Sanwo-Olu, they are coming from, Babajide, they are coming all the way, everybody is trying to get, and so that was what we felt was a more strategic and a more impactful relief of what we've done. And I think you need to give me a round of applause. But I mean, like you said, vote, let's pray. We'll look at our numbers, we can, there's nothing that we cannot do, because the alignment is there, and we're trying to continue to keep that alignment, because it's also a proper alternative that can relieve, the Lekki Expressway. Sheyi, can we
can we make the private sector, provide coaches for the trade? That's what we want them to do. You see, the work of government, I don't want to do that. The work of government is to provide the infrastructure. The private sector are the people that are meant to provide the rolling stock. You remember when I was talking about the jetties, and I said we'll build jetties, and we'll bought some ferries, and I said we want the private sector to buy more jetties, to buy more ferries for us. It's like they're buying more cars for us ahead. So we cannot do it all. So, but once you build the jetty, right? So you have your terminals already. So what you need to have is to buy more ferries, and you are just looking to the back. Similarly, the same thing will happen with the trades. It's not exclusive for government, but we needed to make that investment now for us to make it bankable and for people to know that we're serious, about it. So when there are concessionaires, some that we're talking to, there are investors that we're talking to that we want to bring. So yeah, a lot more. The more the merrier, because it increases, the traffic, and by the time you bring your own train, maybe it's painted, we'll put it there. It's not a problem at all. So if you have people, they're rolling stock, you need it. You need more rolling stock. You talked about housing. Yes, I gave a commitment last year to see that we can identify very serious, JV partners in which we can do joint venture, and we can support them, with I hear that. It's one of the things that I see. A lot of people will say that they have the capacity. They will collect government land and it belongs to you. That's why they'll be hopping from one shopping house to the other, and they'll be using it in cell phone to leverage to. It's easier said, because one of the things that we will be looking for is to also see your own financial capacity. How well can you put your skin in the game? And like I said, honestly, we're willing to, because it's of no use. It's a dead asset. We want to encourage developers. We want to encourage them to be able to do that. And most of the houses that want to do is JV. We're doing it, so we can meet with us, show the capacity, and we'll be able to, go into relationship with you. And my bro from Thailand as well. Seriously, Commissioner for Housing, or the DGPPP office. They can give you all their numbers. Toby, last month, behavioral orientation for them is work in progress. So that last month, boys and girls, they're your brother, they're my brother. It's a reflection of a larger, seriously, it's a reflection of a larger society. They didn't drop from anywhere. So we all have a duty back to continue to, and we are doing our bit. Almost every week, they fire somebody in last week. But the solution is not by firing, the solution is by reorientation, and now we understand and get them to feel that you are serving these people. So you need to put a human face to it. You need to let them understand that it's not like you hide it behind, where the signboard is and you want to just catch anybody. So we keep doing that, and we will not stop. Because it's a tough job. It's a tough job where you need to improve and increase 1,000, 2,000 people. All of them have their own leading agenda. But it's only consistent training, and pep talks and the rest of that can improve that. And you mentioned the second point around, how do we ensure that, first offenders, and it's technology, and we're getting there gradually. It's only with technology that we can have that thorough database that we know that indeed, we've catch you before, but it was a minor offense that you had. But I agree with you, it's a model that can work. But we need to build that technology, build that database. Very, very soon, let me announce, you'll be seeing last month, they'll be carrying handheld device. Hello? I'm saying it, you'll be seeing they'll be carrying handheld device. We realize that they cannot be running after every car and be struggling kids with anybody. No. There's technology. If somebody has even caused an offense, you can take a picture, you can take a camera of it, you can back end, once you know the registration, you can send a nice note to the person, and there will be documentary evidence that this was what you did. You jumped a light, or you did something, you drove one way, and all of these things can be corrected. We can use technology to reduce all of this human interference, and rest. So some of the equipment have arrived, so they are going through that training. They've arrived. They are going through that training for a test run, and they will be holding some of the handheld cameras and rest of it. So they're not meant to be running after cars and
trying to struggle. This is the last question, and I think I want to thank George for this question. You know, they are very thought-provoking, very deep, very issue-based, you know, questions that he had asked, and everything he had said, you know, they are real, and there are things that we need to do, you know, differently, and as a government take on, you know, with all the seriousness that it requires. Vulnerable girls, you know, girls out of school and the rest of it. I'm sure some of you remember there was one incident that happened to me about a year ago, where people thought that I was doing this skit, and I stopped my car to question 2 girls that were not in school. I'm sure you all saw it. I'm sure you all, some of you commented that, yeah, Sanwo-Olu, how can this stop? I lied. You did. Because it's difficult in our environment to believe that the governor can do a simple thing like that. There's trust deficit, and people don't even believe it. I'm happy to tell you that those 2 girls are still under our care. They're in school, they're in public school, and we're taking care of them. It was an incident I was driving, and indeed I saw them, and you know the rest. And there's so many of them, like George had said, that we need to cater. But the one that actually touched and breaks my heart is about simple issues around sanitary towel. Right? It's true, it's real, and it's something that I need to take back. Right? So thank you for that observation. I need to take it back to my Commissioner for Health, Commissioner for Education, and let's see. He has used the word, you know, part back in community, and so we've had some given to us and we've been donating them, but let's have a proper structure around it. Let's organize it well. Indeed, you know, as young girls, you know, there's a lot of embarrassment there. People run out of school, people cannot afford it, the parents. So you are right. This is something that we need to take up as a government and see how, you know, we do it and do it well, so that we can create and build a future for our female students and, you know, our women who are the real leaders of tomorrow. So I take it, you know, as part of my to-do. And the final point is also a tough one. It's using comprehensive sexual education in schools. That's also a takeaway for me, right? I cannot say that I have all of the answers now, right? But you've explained to us, you know, these are some of the things that we can take and ensure that it starts getting taught about in senior secondary school level, so that everybody is aware of what we're talking about and no one is left, you know, is left behind. So thank you very much, Judge, you know, for this question, and I believe these are some of the feedback that is required, you know, for us at this time. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you. The applause coming from Mr. Conrad. That's the original. Now, unfortunately, as much as we would have loved to, we can't take any more questions because the day is fast spent, but I would just like to say a big, big thank you to everyone that asked the question, and a bigger thank you to Mr. Governor for being so gracious in your responses. At this point, we are very, very, very close to the end of today's event. Before we take the closing remarks, I just want to make a few announcements. Dinner is ongoing. I'm sure that some people in the front, you can hear plates and forks clanking. Dinner is ongoing, so once we wrap up, we can move on a lot quicker. We're also going to have photo ops, and I'm saying this because I want to encourage everyone to please not to rush out of the hall. We'll be having photo ops with Mr. Governor. I think we're going to go table by table, so that it's very as organized as possible. So please don't be in a hurry to rush out. Once we're done with our closing remarks, we will have opportunities for photo ops. Okay, at this point, we have come to the end, and to help us wrap this up very nicely, can we please put our hands together one last time and give a warm, warm welcome to the Lagos State Head of Service, Mr. Hakeem Muyokola.
Ajimoshe in Yoruba means collaboration, and I think what we're doing here is collaborating and engaging with one another to fashion a way to push Lagos to that greater Lagos dream that we're envisaging. The engagements have been really, really instructive, instrumental, enlightening, and educative. I think the take back for us and the ticking of the items is to go back to our council to take Mr. Governor to task to deliverables that have been set and requested of him from each and every one of those who have spoken. We've taken feedbacks as to last week and the defects or the advantages of it. We will build a robust and better platform that in future, I think this is the second in the series of this type of engagement. I saw the excitement of Mr. Governor when he was telling us about the first one. I think it was Intercontinental. Today is the week maker. I thank the organizers, some of the aides of Mr. Governor who thought it fit to bring all of these young bright minds to under one roof to engage the man who is driving Lagos at the moment and who is driving it well, I think it seems, from the looks of everybody's face. I think we need to give him another round of applause. Thank you very much, Governor. I think on that note, we will adjourn this to the next collaborative session because even Mr. Governor eats, I think, from the last time I checked, and I think he too would like to go and grab some dinner after such an exhaustive journey time. Thank you again very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mariapala. And on that note, we have come to the end of today's event. I think we've had a really, really good time, haven't we? And I think a lot of those words that we used to describe today in the beginning, they were absolutely accurate, right? So we're going to bring this to a close. I know that I said earlier on that was going to be the last round of applause, but can I ask that you indulge me and give me one round of applause? Okay. My name is Mimi Onalaja, and once again, it's been an absolute pleasure to be your host here today. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for sharing your time. And yeah, we want you to please get home safe and have a lovely, lovely evening. Please remember that we're going to have photo ops. We're going to do it table by table, or we're going to try and do 2 tables per picture. So please don't be in a hurry to go. We're going to go into the photo ops right now, after which we want to remind everyone that hasn't gotten something to eat, dinner is being served outside. Thank you so much and good night.
Sorry, can you guys move like this for me, please? Yes, I want to say I can't move too much, please. Hey, John, hurry along. I can't say. Hey, John. Hey, John. Hey, John. Guy, I beg now. Charlie, I beg. I don't feel move now. Call that they use at the stream. You go Ghana. At the stream. Guy, man, they stream now. I know for expensive ways, they do the same work.
Can we get our next 2 tables, please?
Man is so
Table 3 and 4. Okay, table 3 and 4.
about this country, Charlie.
The goal is to make sure that everyone in this room gets into a picture with Mr. Governor. So please just ensure next table. Can we please make room for our next set of pictures?
So, Julius, you don't take a picture?
Let's all please make our way to the front of the room so we can take our pictures. If you haven't taken a picture yet, please make your way to the front of the room.
Next side.